That was, January.
Right now, I don't know if you get close to the same. You don't need.
How's it going?
Beautiful.
Good. Doing pretty good. We're about to go on, so just hop in whenever you're ready. What's up, Facebook? I just forgot. I was like, oh, yeah. All right, hit the button. What's up? Good morning, people. We got Dr. Chop in studio.
Exciting. Another day in paradise. He is going to get him a girl.
Thank you.
Lamarck.
Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And it is Tuesday. We have an action-packed Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning right now. It's 9 a.m. I'm excited for today because we have so much going on. We have such a busy week. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energy that I wasn't feeling last Tuesday. I will say that. I feel awesome. We have Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio right now. He just got in here. He's getting set up, getting ready to go. We have a guest at 9 a.m. We have a guest at 10 a.m. as well. And then we have an afternoon of fun.
Yeah, we have, today's a health show all day.
I feel like every day is a health show with us, right?
Food show, usually. Today could be health, though. We talked about food all day yesterday. Now it's time to talk about healthy living today.
Yeah, while sneaking in food whenever possible.
Yeah, because this afternoon we're going to Soul to Soul Cafe.
That's correct.
Not that we're going to eat anything, because we can't eat anything there.
You know what? She can make something for us.
Yeah, I'm sure she has some veggies.
Miss Cook, she is an amazing cook. It's literally in her name, Soul to Soul Cafe in Galveston off of Market Street. We have been big fans of for a long time. We actually got introduced to that location from Danny Lee, who's a foodie realtor. We go and do some stuff with him as well. Excited to be able to go back and check out what Miss Cook has going on.
Yeah, we're going to be giving away a gift card to her place, so watch out for that video. You guys really ate up the Flippers video. You devoured the Texas Pit Stop video. Now
You're trying
it's time
too hard.
No,
He's trying way too hard, I think. Did that work?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was going to do, I had one more food, like, delicious.
Let's save it.
Okay.
Let's
let it
take
savor.
it back, save it. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to Soul. They're up Market Street. Miss Cook, she's an amazing cook. It's soul food. I remember, Curt, when we went, and you were like, what kind of food is this? And it's literally called Soul to Soul Cafe. But you had never had soul food, right?
I had never had soul food before.
Now I can't stop thinking about it, right?
Stop. We're in a 21-day cleanse.
She has fried baby back ribs.
Mac and cheese.
Oh, you know what? And I'm going to have to say, and I'm trying to think how I'm going to make this work, but the banana pudding, like how am I going to make that work? It's okay. This banana pudding.
It's healthy, right?
It's bananas. Curt asked me this morning, 100% in seriousness, if a banana was a vegetable, because he was talking about how he made his protein shake and smoothie last night, and he said he put a banana in it. And I was like, why'd you put a banana in there? You're not supposed to have fruit after 4. And you said?
Because I thought it was a vegetable.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Bananas, it's green.
A banana is okay. Even if you have a
green.
green banana, I feel like you just cheated. Because sometimes whenever I say stuff and you realize like, oh, I'm wrong, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that. And I'm like, okay, obviously you didn't. Or either you forgot, but you're like, I don't know.
I for real thought a banana was
okay.
A vegetable.
Well, there you go. There you have it. I'm pretty sure it's a fruit. But I have a banana here today for a snack. It's 9 a.m. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We got Dr. Aaron Chapa. He's getting set up in studio. We're going to be asking him questions. I have a ton of questions. I feel like if you're watching on Facebook, you probably have questions as well. Feel free to like this video. Share it out because we're going to be answering everybody's questions who has something they want to know, health-wise, food-related, allergy-related. We're going to try and get people on a healthy track, a healthy way of living. Why would you want to live where you're taking all this medication? You know, why would you want to live where you're constantly dealing with ailments and sickness? I feel like there's a better way. And, you know, God gave us food that we're supposed to fuel our body. Whenever you use the right fuel, hey, you're going to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm one of the things that I tried last night is last time Dr. Chopper was in, he talked about that we have 11 foods that we usually go to. Mine's usually like anything cheese related. Well, I think I have a new favorite,
Okay.
and that is the veggie fajita.
Okay.
I have fallen in love with that meal because I have now had it in the last week at least 3 times.
What do you think it is about it? Is it the texture, the seasoning, the taste?
I think it's the seasoning with like the guac, because it almost tastes like queso. When you add in the hot oils, it almost tastes like queso. I love the guac on it. It tastes delicious.
Yeah, I love guacamole too. But there's just something about the way you say guac.
Guacamole.
I just love the guac. And it's hurting my ears. So we're going to need to work on your pronunciation of that. Guacamole.
Guac. Is
But
it
even
walk?
that way, you can't.
Walk. Like
just
you
say
walking.
Sure, guacamole. Just say it.
Guacamole.
That sounded amazing. See, that was so much
But
better.
there's a G, not a W.
It's fine. It's fine. But man, I love avocados. I've been eating quite a few avocados, just like working them in where I can. What, do you not like avocado, but you like guacamole?
I don't know.
Do you know what guacamole is?
I just get the store-bought like guacamole.
Okay. You know what the main ingredient is?
Avocado.
There you go.
See, but I'm not taking the avocado and making it myself, because the avocado is that green thing that has the little seed inside.
Yeah, there's
of
a
it.
big seed inside.
Big seed, and then you like take it out with a spoon. No, I'm not making it that way.
No, I guess it's fine. I don't
I
know.
hope so.
But yeah, you just take it out and you mix it up. And whenever you make guacamole, I think they just put like onions and tomato, probably some jalapeno, and they just mix it together with avocado. But the main ingredient is the avocado. The texture, the taste is avocado. You know, and they put salt or whatever else they put in there.
I
love it.
had a spicy version. I usually get the mild version. I stepped my game up last night and I added the spicy.
Where'd you go to get this?
I went
guacamole?
to Kroger. Kroger had it.
Okay.
I have to see. I was gonna say something when Dr. Choppa got on the mic as well,
Okay.
but I hate grocery shopping. I
love it.
even on this 21-day cleanse, I still hate it. And here's why. And I decided this is the reason why yesterday. It literally takes an hour out of my day to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Because it's a 15-minute drive there, 15 minutes back, that's 30 minutes. And even if I'm just getting some small stuff, it's 30 minutes. And then on top of it, they usually put all of the breads and every like dessert item they possibly can right next to the vegetable items.
Yes.
So I'm like picking out my vegetables while eating a cookie, you know, and it's just like the worst.
Man, that would be tough. Here's the thing. I love grocery shopping. You have to think of it as investing in yourself, you know, especially whenever we're doing this. Hey, yeah, 30-minute drive or 15 minutes, 30 minutes total driving to a location. You're going and you're taking time, investing in yourself to buy the right fuel for your body. And I love it. I've gone every day on purpose. I've gone grocery shopping literally every day on purpose because I just have so much fun. And I see something new that I want to try. I'm like, oh, what is this? I've never seen this vegetable before. And I try and read. I can't pronounce that name. I'm gonna eat it and see if I like it. Try new things.
I also have a really hard time with just the amount of the price. It feels like every day I'm spending at least $30 to get everything that I need.
Just for one meal?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Like and it takes forever. I mean, I had to find a casserole dish. Like, what vegetable is casserole dish? It was so hard to look in the vegetable aisles for casserole dish.
Yeah. So you're buying new appliances and new cooking equipment too.
I didn't have a casserole dish.
You can make it work.
A spatula. What's a spatula?
But now you have a casserole dish, right? You bought
No,
one?
I didn't. It was still $30.
So what? I don't understand that.
It's all of the fruits and vegetables, and then I had to get some spice.
Are you having leftovers?
Well, the fruits and vegetables go bad after like 2 days.
Well, I'm saying like, okay, so let's say you cook your veggie fajitas you spent
Yes.
you spent $30.
Yes.
Are you having leftovers from that?
Yes, but
And how many leftovers?
probably I get like a day.
So $15 a meal is what you're averaging at. I think there's something wrong. Either you're exaggerating,
But
the
I
price.
also had to buy spices, and the spices are expensive. Like they're $4 or $5.
You're not going to buy those spices the whole time, though. You buy that one time.
Yeah, I know. But as I'm going on, like they asked last night for like red pepper flakes, and I was like, "What are red pepper flakes?"
Kurt's sometimes a glass half empty kind of guy, and he's letting that glass just really run low right now.
It sounds like he's in the middle of a detox. We need to fill him up this morning, don't we?
Man, I feel good. I don't know why. Kurt, do you feel feel better?
I feel like I just want to eat.
Really?
See, that's the hardest part for me is I feel hungry. Like I get done with my shake and I'm still hungry. I get done with, I don't know what it is.
So let's talk about that for a second. My name is Dr. Aaron Chapa, and I got to be with these guys on KHEA Radio. I'm so excited, and they have invited me to come in and just help them get healthy, stay healthy, and live well, be well. One bite at a time, Kurt. One bite at a time. And look, when you're hungry after a shake, you're basically telling us that your blood sugar is not balanced, and your body has been craving rocket fuel, which is why you reached to rocket fuel so much in your past before you started all this process. What you're doing by the end of this thing, you'll know through this experience of shopping and seeing what it is to slow down life, because we're such a fast-paced society. There's more people out there just like you. You'd be shocked. And it really is a process of healing, not just in the food that we're eating, but even the time that we're taking to love ourselves enough to take care of our body. And your blood sugar will get more and more stable each and every day. And the simplest way to do that is going to that little green thing you mentioned earlier, an avocado. What you should start doing is put a half an avocado in the shake and blend it up. Do you have a blender?
Yeah, that's how I made my banana shake last night.
Did you already have one, or was that one of your
I already
$30
had it.
purchases?
My
Okay.
Hamilton Beach, it was like
Ooh,
$10.
Beachbody.
And it was
go.
like literally you have to push the button itself in order to grind it.
I did that on Sunday. I did half avocado, ice, and water. And I think I should have added more water, but
Or you could add some coconut water.
Yeah,
for
coconut water's by itself. I'm not a fan.
But mixed in stuff, it's not too bad.
I feel like it would be better.
Yeah. But the one that I had this morning is I put half a can of coconut milk in it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, see, those fats balance your blood sugar, make you feel stronger, more balanced. And then it'll make the shake go farther as well.
So, Dr. Chapa, today is 1 week that we have been on this 21-day detox. So we're 1/3 of the way through this.
That's right.
I feel pretty good. I asked my wife last night, I said, how would you feel if this was just the way I ate forever? And she was like, oh my goodness. She was like, no, I would not like that. And I'm like, why? She was just saying, I don't know. Because she said, you're probably that me. I am one of the most health conscious people that she knows already, which I don't know if I would necessarily agree, but just because I pay attention, I'll read stuff on food, or hey, I'm going to try and work. I got to work out. I got to go work out. I got to making time and doing stuff like that. She's like, I don't need you doing this anymore. And I was like, well, I think I'm learning, and this would be something good to do. Like you said, 1 time a year, 2 times a year. Why not?
Yeah. Well, so here's one of the things that when I go to seminars and stuff like that for a weekend, and you immerse yourself in 16 hours of why you should live well, why you should be well, the possibilities. I mean, people come in all the time and they have symptom patterns that they weren't genetically born with, and their body wasn't performing at the level they felt like it should perform at. They had something they were dealing with, whether it's a headache, whether it's allergies. I mean, Kurt, you have a good story to share about the allergy situation.
Yeah, my
Did you share that on the radio?
Yeah, we talked about it last week a little bit, but my allergies have kind of gone away. Even today, when they had a higher dust
Pollen
warning
count?
because of the Sahara
The dust is
desert
back.
stuff.
The dust is back.
But
It's crazy. I've never heard of this before in my life. All of a
and
sudden,
we've heard it
the dust
4
is hitting
times.
us.
4
Nuts.
times. But it's funny. Today, a little bit more than I felt in last week, but not enough that I needed to take a Claritin.
So, for the first time, you're experiencing your body is performing at a better level. It's actually handling the dust in the air, the pollens in the air, better than it has ever. How long have you been on medications?
Probably a year.
So a year of medications, and inside of a week, you're not needing that. How do you explain that other than your body's more efficient in dealing with the environment?
Mhm.
Also, during this cleanse, somehow my hair just all of a sudden just cut itself and fell off.
So nobody can see you in the studio right now. I'm going to see if I can turn my Facebook
This dude
live.
got a haircut.
And this guy got a haircut. Look at that haircut. Say, wait, Kurt. Yeah. So
It always looks so drastic because you go so long between haircuts.
The guy, yesterday they were like 2 to 3 months. So I did actually get a haircut. I actually did get a haircut.
So
it wasn't because of the 21 day climb.
last week, Curt was talking about, or actually before we started this, he wanted to find a girl, and so this is one of his attempts.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it is. He makes this plea like, oh my hair, look at my hair, try and get the attention.
You look pretty good there, buddy.
Dude,
I'm loving it.
So you're taking your pills right now.
There's 7 of the cleanse that we have to take today. Today's the start of week
it is.
2.
I
See,
I forgot.
the one thing about
I've only
Gardy,
taken 3.
see, Kurt's the rule follower. Gardy's just kind of fly by the seat of his pants. Is that accurate?
Yeah, for sure. I kind of go, like you mentioned. Hey, only take cut it down to 1 pill. Because I'm feeling kind of bloated, and so I said okay, and then Curt was like, I'm not gonna follow that. I'm not gonna listen to that. He just really doesn't listen. I don't know, Curt. You don't okay? Because whenever Dr. Chapa told us to cut it down to 1 pill, you're like, okay, I'm still taking 3. You're like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna rough it out. I'm gonna tough it out.
Bound
I'm
and
following
determined.
the rules. I'm following everything else. I even read on the back like the directions on how many scoops you're supposed to put in a shake, and I'm doing that. So yeah, I'm following the rules. I'm doing this by the books. I was a little concerned though, because I was like, man, I should at least be down maybe 32 pounds by now. And it's only
Do you have a
2
scale at
pounds. No, I have one here, so I just weighed it
okay.
here. Yeah.
Well, but see, the reality is weight is actually one of the worst indicators for, if you're losing real weight. You could be losing body fat, which is why we did all those stats on the front end of this program as well, so that when we go back in, we're going to see inches change. We're going to see your body shift in other realms. If you go look at that video commercial I just saw when I walked in the church here, you will see a difference already in how much y'all have leaned up.
Yeah. So, one question. So the cleanse, we're supposed to take 7 today.
Yes.
So I've taken 3, so I need to take 4 more.
Yes.
And that's 7 every 3 times a day.
day.
Okay, gotcha.
So basically, hey,
Follow the rules.
it's okay.
Easy.
Hey, but he had his pills with him at least,
Oh yeah, I take.
and a gallon of
everywhere I go.
water. That's the best thing I've seen all day.
I drank like a gallon and a half before it was all said and done yesterday, and so I made sure this was full, but I've already drinking. Like obviously, I had my water with my shake that was in there, and then I had some other water just from waking up. I fill up. I have one of those big cups from Witch or somewhere. It's like a big yellow cup. I just fill it up with water. I just chug it first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning, when you put 30 ounces of water, it's the simplest. I've been reading these books lately. There's a really cool app that I've been listening to from Blinkist, and it basically is like Cliff Notes for any book topic you want to listen to, and it basically gives you the Cliff Notes audio version. So when you're driving down the road, you can turn your car into an audio library and be just digesting book information. Well, one is I'm reading this how to take 12 weeks and turn it into 12 months, basically, get 12 weeks worth of work done in 12 months. But it's all about habits.
Mhm.
And the habits that we're forming on this detox and is what to drink first thing in the morning when you wake up. Drink 30 ounces of water first thing. Before I get to work by 9 a.m., I've already had 60 ounces of water. So, and then I have a 64-ounce glass of or container that when I finish that, then I'm going to be at 124 ounces by 5 p.m. So my game is to have it consumed by 5.
Wow.
And so I play games with myself. That way I'm not drinking, a liter of water at bedtime and wondering why I'm waking up at night to pee, right? So we've talked about that. You should not wake up at night to pee.
Yeah.
That's a sign your liver is in need of support. And so this detox is going to help the body purge that trash out.
Okay, I think we have a couple questions. I have one too, but I think one of our listeners has one, so we'll go ahead and get that one answered.
Yeah, well, it says, what does Dr. Aaron think about taking calcium plus iron, fish oil? I'm going to say ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha?
Yeah, for someone who has, that doesn't eat dairy and wants healthy skin.
Okay, so the real question is I want healthy skin. So the single best way to do that, cod liver oil, we use a company called Nordic Naturals because they use a reesterified triglyceride base, which means it's very little contamination or tampering with the product from fish to oil. Okay, so that's an important. 98% of all fish oils on the market are an ethyl ester base, which means that they're highly contaminated, they're processed heavily, and so they more or less they're rancid. Okay, so if people that complain about burping up fish oils and burping up, the oil that they're consuming in abundance, it most of the time is because of rancid or bad oil. So cod liver oil in a reesterified triglyceride base is the way to consume it. That way, if you do burp that up, it's your liver, your gallbladder's inability to break it down. And so the single best way to have beautiful skin, hair, and nails is cod liver oil. You could totally do that and use that. Flaxseed oil is another good one, by the way, for that. Cool. But to answer the question about the calcium and dairy, I'm assuming it was kind of the question, right, Kurt? So just kind of lead me. Is the calcium, it's a myth that calcium in milk does a body good. That's why they don't advertise that anymore. That was only back in the early 80s, mid 80s, and then it went away. And then they replaced those ads with beautiful celebrities with milk mustaches.
Got milk.
You got milk. That was their new slogan, because it's illegal to say milk does a body good, because every country that consumes dairy products as a way to prevent osteoporosis or build strong bones has the highest incidence of osteoporosis and weak bones. And so calcium supplementation is a must as well, but green leafy vegetables is where you get your calcium. I mean, almond milk, for example, has more calcium than cow milk. Just throwing that out there. So there's other places where you're going to get your calcium.
Interesting.
And so when it comes to the skin, we also get into collagen, and we start getting into how do we repair the collagen matrix. And so essential fatty acids, minerals, not just calcium and magnesium, but also other minerals that we look at. We'll look at balancing out zinc levels to help the absorption of other foods. So there's quite a few different things we can do for beautiful skin, hair, and nails. But what is your skin an exit channel? Yeah. It's a secondary exit channel. Your body is going to use your skin as an exit channel if the primary channels aren't working, like your bowels or your urine flow. And so we want to make sure that those channels are open and your body won't use your skin, and therefore your skin won't be a trash can.
That was one of the things that you asked us about our goals. And mine was like, hey, I would like to have clearer skin. I know that sounds funny. I'm a 32-year-old guy, but when I was in high school and everything, my skin was just like fine. I played football, helmet on, sweat, it was fine. And then whenever I got older, I guess I started eating worse and other things, but I started having like these spots right here on my cheeks where it was just like random nasty stuff. So I wash my face all the time. Like in the morning, I wake up, my wife's like, when you wash it, I was like, okay, cool. But just like finding the thing, and I've talked to Kurt about it, like, okay, as a guy, you go to the store and you just look at the aisle. There's all kinds of stuff, and it's all aimed at someone who's not me, and I don't know what I'm getting. So I see videos on the internet like, oh, there's a black mask. Should I get the black mask?
Oh, those are so cool, and pull the stuff out.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try that just for fun. We should totally do that.
Yeah.
For a, we could do that to Kurt.
Yeah.
And see how that goes.
That would be interesting.
But here's the thing, so right now, how is your skin? I mean, it's a week into the process. Can you tell any difference?
Yeah, no, I can tell a difference. For sure. I feel like it is better. There's some stuff that I had going on before we started this a week ago, and it actually is better. Like I can see it's clearing up, and it's better than it was for sure. So I'm enjoying that part, and I'm interested to see what happens in these next couple of weeks, because it is getting better. I'm still washing my face. I'm actually using the same stuff. I use all random stuff like a Neutrogena thing, and then there's another one that's like has like beads in it. I honestly don't know what it does, but I'm just like, hey, I saw a commercial for this.
So this is a good rule of thumb when it comes to skincare products. So people make this mistake because your skin is an organ, right? It's the largest organ in your body. And so if you can't eat the ingredients, you probably should not put it on your skin.
Okay.
And so a good rule of thumb is to make sure that whatever you're putting on, like coconut oil is a good thing you could put on your skin. There's a lot of really good natural ways to moisturize the skin and cleanse the skin without damaging it with harsh chemicals.
So making sure it's natural. And that's a good rule.
You could, if for the listeners out there, if y'all email us at info@justliveworld.com, I have 8 skin products you should never put on your body anywhere. And because they're harsh chemicals. And some of these things that are in these skincare products are engine degreasers. I mean, they are products that you clean car parts with. Why would we clean our skin with it?
Get it really clean.
Get it really clean.
It's the only thing I can think of. What you got, Kurt?
We're standing by with one of our listeners who has a question for Dr. Chapa.
Cool. Let me see. Hello. You're talking to Dr. Chapa. How are you doing today?
Great. I'm doing very, very well.
Who am I speaking to?
This is Stephanie.
All right, Stephanie, you have a question for Dr. Chapa?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Hi, Stephanie.
Dr. Chapa. Hey. I'm 30 years old, and I've done a detox before, and I've had really, really good results with it. I mean, I felt so much better after I did it over the course of a year. I think I ended up losing it was like 18 pounds.
Wow.
But the detox kind of jump-started it for me. And so my mom, I want to know kind of, is it dangerous, to do a detox? Because my mom is pushing 60 years old. And I really want her to do this because I just had like such, I don't know, mental clarity, peace afterwards. And I think she can really use that in her life. But I don't know if it's dangerous for her because, of her age. And my mom has kind of eaten like bad, not bad food, but a little bit of fast food through her life. And she drank some alcohol. And, do you think it's okay for her?
Yeah. So now, obviously, back to you, congratulations. That's awesome that you, started to do a detox. Most people don't even know the concept, detox, or they're afraid of that word. And so and this is a good conversation because at 60 years old, we're going to have to undo some of the old mindsets that have been put in place by, good marketing. And but if your mom can still eat, your mom can still get well, live well, and be well herself. It doesn't matter what age. I have a gentleman that comes to see me that is diabetic, and we're reducing his diabetic medication through food and through rebuilding of the tissues in his body. So detox is just a form of getting rid of the toxicity in our environment, things our body cannot use. And so detox is very safe. Now, can you do stuff that's harsh and dangerous? Of course, but what we're talking about today is not a risk involved at all. We expect no claim of challenge or issue. Maybe a headache, maybe a little bit of digestive upset the first couple of days on the process. But at the end of the day, when you're going through the detox, you're going to be feeling that clarity of mind, that the headaches go away, skin rashes go away, body odor going away, sleeping deeper. And this is all by improving the efficiency of the body. So detox is safe. It's very, very safe. And it is very fun and freeing because like these guys are here talking in the radio, we're talking about redesigning the top 11 meals that you reach to for your health and wellness goals.
Awesome. Stephanie, do you have any other questions for Dr. Chapa?
No, I don't. I think he answered that. And I think I'm going to have my mom do the detox. It, I think it can really help her. She needs more peace in her life. And, it seems like something, since it's safe for her to do, I think
Awesome.
We'll have her try it. Maybe we'll do it together.
That's a great idea. Stay in touch, and you can always go check out Dr. Chapa's website at justlivewell.com. If you have any other questions, you can get a hold of him as well. Thank you so much for calling.
Bye, Stephanie. Thank you.
All right. That was awesome. I'm glad somebody
that's awesome.
calling in and get some answers.
And not only that, she's done a detox before. So, I mean, she wanted to do a detox with her mom or to get her a loved one involved. And I think that, like you're going to inspire your wife, Gardy.
She's been eating better. She's like, well, I'm pretty much, and she is doing like an altered version of it, just because of schedule and everything. But whenever I'm making the meal, she's helping, you know, and we're eating it together.
And that's the name of the game. It's about just the family coming together around food, because most of society is built around food. There's always some sort of social function. There's always some sort of event we've got to go to. But when we go to the events and we are eating nothing but junk food, or we rationalize, our behavior around the social event to justify bad food, what happens is time kicks in. Just like you were saying, when you're in your teens and early 20s, you didn't notice your skin was an issue, or didn't notice even some of the maybe performance in the gym declining a little bit. But what you'll notice is when you get your insides clean, all of a sudden your metabolism will boost up. Your body will start to perform at new levels that it wouldn't perform at before.
Yeah. So I have a question. Whenever this cleanse is over, there were certain things that I was taking, like a pre-workout and whey protein and just stuff like that. After this cleanse is over, are those things that, like, I should look for a different kind of protein without whey? Is that something that I should maybe it's better to do it without the pre-workout? You know, it gives you that caffeine rush. So you're in the gym, you feel like
right. And so again, it goes back to the artificial stimulants in the rocket fuel. You should actually feel by the end of the second week where you're going into the gym very clear, very ready, very prepared for your workout routines. And I mean, are there things you can do? There is. I mean, but whenever it comes to these pre-workout things, they have too much sugar a lot of times. There's too much caffeine. You know, one of the ladies was talking or asked a question earlier about ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an amazing herb. It's great for your adrenal glands. We've talked a lot about balancing out adrenals and cleaning up your liver that will regulate blood sugar and will make the performance in your endocrine system perform better. And it can bring a lot of stress-free feelings back to your life that we all need. I personally would look to electrolyte drinks that don't have sugar in it, maybe sweetened with low-hang fruit and or stevia would be a better option. I use a product called Ultima Refresher in our office. And so, you know, when we use that as a before and after for, you know, kids playing soccer or, you know, people in the gym, because we want to get people to eat things that are clean and putting only good fuel in the body to fuel this machine that we got.
So I have a question about the cleanse in general. So we had a listener call in, they've done a cleanse before. Maybe people haven't heard the word cleanse, but so one of the first things that I think of when I hear cleanse or detox is like, hey, I'm going to the restroom a lot. And so this is going to be kind of weird to talk about. So for me, I felt really bloated, but it's not like I was using the restroom like crazy. But you gave me some feedback. You said to cut back on one of on the fiber, the gastrofiber pill. So I did. I cut it down instead of like three times a day, just 3 times a day. And I can tell a difference. I'm not as bloated, but I do notice more now than I did before. I hear like rumbling in my stomach, you know, throughout the day, or like I feel it, you know, like I sit down or I move and it's like, you know, there's rumbling, but it's not like I'm necessarily going to the restroom any more than I was before. Does that make any sense?
This is a lovely topic.
No, this is one of my favorite topics of all time is talking about your bowel hygiene, guys. So some people call me the poop doctor. That because my favorite conversation.
Let's be an adult, Kurt.
That's right. That's right. We can't talk about potty humor on the line. It's inappropriate. So here's the deal. So the fiber, there's a couple things. Number one, my first inclination is just the fiber. You guys, first detox, you have no idea that when you put a lot of fiber in, the fiber is trying to clean the digestive tract, kind of like the big whirly, you know, tumbler thing at the car wash. It's kind of like that inside your bowels. It's trying to break off trash that's stuck in there. And if you have too much trash in your bowels, things your body, you don't realize it, but the average American has 15 meals caked up inside of them. So when you put a bunch of fiber in there, it's pushing extra stuff out in addition to the already caked up stuff out.
Yeah,
it backs things up. That's where the gurgling is coming from. So that's what you're feeling right now. That's a little bit more gentle, less bloating. That before, all we were doing was just asking your body to push too much out too quick. And that just means that you have stuff inside your system. And that might be why Kurt feels like he's not like losing like, you know, an absorbent amount of weight, you know, right out of the cuff as well. So, you know, the reality is we start by going through a detox with patients and teaching them. So at justlivewell.com, this is where our website is. We got some information on our website, justlivewell.com, that will explain a little bit about the difference between cleansing and detox.
Okay.
Cleansing is just food. So y'all have heard of like the Daniel fast.
Yes.
That is a cleanse. You're cleansing, you're fasting from stimulants. I call this a 21-day vacation from stress and stimulants in our diet, right? And we're getting rid of the artificial rocket fuel. We're getting rid of the toxins. A detox is when we put these shakes and these supplements along with it, where we're asking the body to push fat-soluble compounds that are stuck in our fat cells, stuck in our joints, stuck in our brain, and get those out into the blood flow so that it can be recirculated and be excreted through the exits of our body, our bowels, our kidneys, our sweat, as a way of not just cleansing and fasting from something, but actually detoxing the old junk out. And so the other reason that you guys were probably having some digestive distress is maybe the flora in the bowels is revealing, and this is what I noticed about detox, is that they reveal where our weaknesses are. Maybe we've got intestinal gut flora ecology issues down there as well, and that's why the skin flares up like it does. Your skin, guys, is a mirror image of your digestive tract.
Wow.
I have a bunch of questions that are pouring in. So
Yeah, go ahead.
So am I on the right track though? Like, okay, when we were talking about the fiber and the pills and the bloating, it's a little bit better. So is everything on the right track? Just kind of see how it goes. Is this normal?
Yeah, this is all very normal.
Awesome.
And I think that we're moving stuff along really well.
Cool.
Yeah,
Let's
go
get
ahead.
to the questions.
Awesome. All right. So first of all, we have someone who's asking, one, can you take out-of-state clients? And two, I believe this person is a vegetarian, so she would like to have some suggestions on how she can be, what supplements she can take to be healthy.
Yeah, so here's the answer is I do out-of-state consultations all the time. Technology today, we can bridge the state line issues, and people's families are in other states. So we've learned how to work on patients all over the country.
Cool.
So that's easy. So thank you for that. I'd love to call our office, 281-554-8600, and we'll get you all squared away on that. So as a vegetarian, obviously we would ask you questions. Why are you a vegetarian? How'd that come to be? And everybody's got a story. So we want to learn your story so that we can better assist you. But absolutely, we can create programs that are vegetarian friendly. I'm obviously an anti-dairy, so we could even take the next step and go vegan. But here's the thing: is that we want to teach you, through understanding your history, what your body's needs are, and so we can build a program specific to healthy vegetarianism if that's something that people are interested in.
Sweet. Question number two, and this is a weird one. What do you eat for breakfast?
Me personally, so I'm going to give you two answers. One is off detox and one is on detox. Yesterday morning I had have you seen those butter, they're called butter lettuce leaves? They're really big and they're beautiful. They got like the roots still attached to it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had that, carrots, celery, bell peppers with a mustardy vinaigrette that I picked up from a restaurant down the street from my house that I go to called Skipper's. I ought to get them to come in one day. They have an amazing
Cool.
Greek salad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if I'm out and about, sometimes I'll even go to that place and get a Greek salad with no feta, no pita, and just their dressing. And that's how I used to get through a detox when I lived further away from my office.
So we go to a ton of great restaurants and we partner and do giveaways and all kinds of stuff. And so me and Curt have been brainstorming, where can we go that has like awesome salads, awesome, grilled vegetables, something that we would be able to actually tear into in a video, because right now there's a lot of places that we love and we are believers in, and we're going to go shoot one today at an awesome place in Galveston. So I'm going to have all this food in front of me.
I can't believe
You've seen the videos, right?
I have, yes.
And so we're going to do the same format. And I told Curt, I want to make it look like I'm eating the food, but I'm not going to eat the food. But I know I can describe it because I've had it before and it's really good. But if we can go somewhere festivals.
This is like going back to Captain Hook again, like the Mangarine video.
Bangarang. So we're talking.
I feel like Gardy, I'm gonna look away to like fix the camera, and all of a sudden
and he's gonna
Gardy's
dive
like,
in.
I'm so sorry.
Well, Jason's Deli is a good one,
Yes,
right? We can hit up Jason's Deli. I can go to Chipotle and get some a burrito bowl with no rice and double the grilled veggies. Papacitas has good grilled veggies.
That's true.
So what I find is a lot of restaurants will accommodate you if you let them know on the front end. Like I've even gone to Sawgrass and got them to accommodate a vegetable-based, diet.
That's a good idea to go to Papacitos and say, hey, I want the fajitas minus the fajitas at extra vegetables, right? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and so that's they have really good grilled vegetables. I mean,
Yes.
they come out steamed fresh and they're amazing.
Cool.
I got a question here that says, hi there, Dr. Chapa. This is from Melissa. She says, are you having these guys do veggies only? And so as usual, I always push people to do on the detox the full 21 days, no vegetables. But we offer the midpoint shift at day 10, 11, where you guys can start incorporating eggs, fish, chicken, turkey back in, because some people, again, they're working out heavily. They need a little bit more protein. Their body, that's their first time. We're trying to keep their blood sugar stable. And so there's two different ways. So right now they're still in the first 10 days. So they're 100% vegetable only, vegetabilitarians.
The thing that I'm finding is just trying to be creative with it. And like, I feel like I'm running out of things.
Oh, and also Zoe's kitchen. You all been to Zoe's before? That off the Bay Area?
I've seen it, but I've never been.
So, well, they have good food as well. They have kebabs that are fantastic, but they have great salads too and great grilled vegetables.
I had a delicious salad yesterday from Salada, but I also realized yesterday, like sitting down, usually when I do lunch, because I'm trying to get to my next thing, sitting down and doing a salad at Salada, you can't just like do in like 2 minutes.
No, you got to chew.
You literally have to sit there for 30 minutes getting through your lunch. And I'm like, this is the worst. Like, I'm by myself, sitting, eating this salad. What do I do for 30 minutes as I'm going through this thing?
You could contemplate your place in the universe. You could say, Lord Jesus,
it's true.
What do you want me to do for the rest of my day?
Man.
Look, think about this. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people don't realize that they're running and gunning through life, and they're missing opportunities to stop and reflect on their morning, or stop and reflect on what they're going to do the rest of the day. If they would stop and just chew their food, stop and smell the roses. If you stop and chew your food, like, it forces you to slow down, and you can't just swallow, big boluses of food and scarf and not truly savor the experience. So the question might be, Curt, is why in such a hurry? Where's the fire?
I got so much to do.
He's this very important man, I guess.
Yeah,
so much editing.
I can't argue.
So much editing. I found that I like making the salad dressing, like red wine vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, maybe some lime. You mix it up.
Oh,
stinking delicious.
A little garlic powder in that.
Okay. I have some. You know what? It's right there on the spice thing, because I have like a full selection of spices at my house.
I found a treasure last night. It's zucchini noodles.
Oh, already,
yes. And I was like, this is awesome. And it was in a box. And
I know what you're talking about. I have two. I've already eaten one of those, and I'm like on two at my house.
And they have a recipe for like Parmesan, like Alfredo stuff. But
I don't think we can have that.
I can't have the Parmesan.
Yeah, the dairy is what you got to avoid.
The other ingredients that can mix into it, I can have. So I just cut the Parmesan, and I got the other ingredients. That's where I needed the red pepper flakes for. Was to put it inside of that.
The thing that I ran into whenever I first got those is I was cooking it too long, because some vegetables take a lot longer to cook than others, and those, since they're so small, it doesn't take any. And then I read the directions, said like 2 to 4 minutes or 3 to 4 minutes or however long, So
how long should you be sauteing something? Because
it depends.
It depends on what your desire is. I mean, some people like it mushy, so the longer you would saute it. If you want a little bit more crispy, you would do it less.
I did by the way, the cookbook really needs to be like dumbed down a little bit.
Really?
Because I feel like, last night I did the bananas dessert, because I was like, I want dessert. So I'm going to do the banana dessert.
Yeah. Did you saw the one in
cinnamon.
there with the cinnamon and the banana on top?
It didn't tell me that I needed to spray the pan so it wouldn't stick to the pan.
So you need
and
I feel
like that was like, obviously looking back, I'm like, that's an obvious step. I should have sprayed the pan.
But still, you're right. We got to make it, because we don't realize that maybe people they need a step by step.
Yeah.
Jonathan just said, Uberritos or Uberrito restaurant at Baybrook, like Chipotle, you can get good grilled vegetables there.
That's right next to Salada, right? What's the one right next to Salada at the mall? There's like a burrito place.
It would be a new one for me. I've never been to that one.
I almost went, and then I noticed like on the sign, like it had rice and it had like a shell around it, and I was like, I can't have that.
One place whenever we were leaving a meeting, me and Curt were, and he was like, let's go eat somewhere. And I was like, I don't want to go to the mall. I want to go somewhere here or go home or go to the grocery store. So I passed Genghis Grill, and I was thinking, I was like,
oh, totally.
I bet Genghis Grill would have worked.
Vegetables.
Yeah, we called a buffet place, and like,
we thought,
what would taste? Sorry to interrupt, but lemon butter would be, if you do a lemon butter sauce on those zucchini noodles.
Be good.
That would be really good. Make it feel a little bit more like Parmesan. Gives you that thick, creamy. And going back to your original, while you're hungry all the time, we got to get more butter and fats into you.
What do you think about that?
I like the idea of more fats.
I mean, yeah, but butter's good. You can use, and I told you guys, you could take bacon, lay it over the top of your dish, cook it in the oven, let all that bacon percolate down in.
Yeah.
And then throw the bacon away or eat the bacon?
No, you can't eat the bacon on the detox. But
Dang.
in your case, it's no good because you're a single guy in a single home. So, but like Gardy could do it. Like his wife could eat the bacon. The
My
kid could eat
kids
the
love bacon. Yeah.
and then he
My
could just
cat.
use the oil. Yeah.
I had Brussels sprouts last night in the oven. So my wife, she was looking through the cookbook and she was like, "Oh, that sounds good. Let's try it." So I was at the store earlier. I grabbed some Brussels sprouts, put it on the pan, salt and pepper, throw it in there, got it out.
Did you have them? Did you do it in halves or the whole?
Whole thing.
Nice.
So it was like little popping it in, and it was awesome.
Cabbage tarts.
So I have some for lunch again today.
Yeah.
They're really good.
And I saw you did chips. I saw you bought some veggie chips.
Oh, those it's like plantains, and that's what I was asking because I feel like it's misleading. So there's veggie straws, and to me, I'm like, oh, vegetable straws. We look at it, it's still potatoes.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
mostly starch.
Then there's other chips too that are
Like the
kind of
sea
branded
salt?
as healthy, but I don't know. It's just like flavored like vegetables.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
So there's a couple. So on the chips, and the other big issue that you have to worry about on the chips is the
Oil?
They use canola oil,
Yeah.
which we talked about last
It's
week.
cannot.
It's cannot con oil. Cannot use the con oil in my food preparations.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Is there I looked and I saw yesterday too because I was looking at like some Annie Ann's. I think they make like Google like I guess goldfish and other things, but they have
It's all grain. It's all grain.
Yeah, but I think that has a lot of that's wheat and starch. And
Yeah, so I
corn.
looked at it, but I was like, well, when I'm done, looking at
Oh,
ingredients,
So what we're gonna
not
have
for
to do
the
is
21
we're gonna
days.
have to build you a post, protocol, which
Transition.
I think transition for you specifically because I don't want you just jumping right back into the pizza.
Man, I was looking at the Genghis Grill menu. I'm not even joking. And I was looking at all the stuff and I was like, oh, whenever, even on day 10 or day 11,
You can
adding
add
something
back
in,
a little protein.
like fish in there or something, or
Yeah.
the chicken.
You
It looks so good.
A friend of mine sent me a paleo dish that he made last night with cauliflower rice and a turkey type. I thought about teasing y'all with the same picture he sent me,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, but he's that way. He's a chef and he likes to make fun foods because food can be fun, but it does require going to the store and going and taking the time to cook this stuff up. But guys, the pictures y'all been sending me is absolutely y'all are like naturals.
I'm just recycling the same picture.
Is that what it is? They look really similar. No, just kidding.
It's funny.
I just
I
put a
have fun.
different filter on it.
Yeah, I like cooking. I like going to the grocery store. I have a blast when I'm at the grocery store. I don't know why. It's close to my house, and I like taking my family there, and just
Let them scavenge
See, I
some of
think
the
that's
grapes
the
and
hardest part
cherries
where I'm at is I literally have to drive 15 minutes to get to
the
a grocery store.
That's
There's
not that far.
nothing here.
But-
15 minutes is 30 minutes of my day.
every
That's
store.
when you go. That's when you turn your car into a mobile library. You start listening to audiobooks. That way, you're always
sense.
being productive.
Yeah.
Plus, all these grocery stores now have like call ahead. You can get on the app and you can hey, I need this, this, and this, and then you can just go pick it up.
I don't see this area has not developed
I feel
anything.
Walmart
like this.
has it now.
I
I
could do
think they
Walmart,
do.
but Walmart's grocery store,
Kroger has it too.
I've noticed especially the one over here is not as good as going to a Kroger or going to an
H-E-B.
HEB. It's
Yeah.
there's more options for the vegetables than
Yeah,
if you're going.
and they're fresher. They last longer as well.
not to downplay Walmart, but I'm just noticing variety wise, there's not as much variety
It
when
is
you're
what it
going
is.
to a grocery store.
Yeah, and have you ever wondered why there's a health food store? What do they sell at normal grocery stores if we have a health food store?
Unhealth food, yeah.
And unhealthy,
Right.
But I mean, you gotta think a lot of the foods out there, they're marketed to be healthy. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of why I do what I do is I'm trying to train people to do exactly what y'all are doing. Y'all are brainstorming and going through the process of waking up to you're in control of your health. You don't have to suffer with symptom patterns that you were not genetically
Right.
born with. You don't have to live on allergy medications. And the reality is once this detox is over, you might go right back into the food supply that you were eating that caused you to have allergies, and your allergies will come right back. But the thing is, what you're going to learn is it's not me twisting your arm. It's your body teaching you what you can and can't do. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yes.
And ultimately, I had a patient come in yesterday, and she goes, you were right when you told me, 5 years ago to stay off the dairy. And I just wish I'd have listened then. Well, guys, don't worry about what you could have done or should have done. Worry about what you can do right now to live a little better, and take every step as a win. So a detox is the fastest way. It's 3 months worth of work in 3 weeks, and to get on the health track. But don't beat yourself up if you can't do it. I got 7-day programs. I got 10-day programs. I got 14-day programs for people that can't commit to the bigger protocol. So at our office, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, our goal is to just teach you guys how to live better, be better, and stay better, one bite at a time. And we believe that you guys out there in the radio world, social media world that we're talking to this morning, if you're suffering with health conditions that you were not genetically born with, reach out to us. We've got answers and we've got solutions on how to get you better, to keep you better, and we want you to live better one bite at a time.
Yeah, if you're watching and listening or wherever you're at, if you have a question, feel free to ask us. You can call us 346-704-1806. You can text that number as well. You can ask right here on our Facebook live stream as well. And that's why we have Dr. Chapa in studio.
And tune in, 99.5 FM.
That's
and
right.
we're going to have Dr. Chapa in next Tuesday and the Tuesday after that as we kind of go through this process. We just want to make sure that as we're doing this, that we're getting our answers, but you are also getting your answers
That's right.
to making your life healthy. I have one really fast, and I noticed this last night, and this is going to get a little personal, but it's okay. I'm okay with this. So I have stretch marks. I was 230. I've been 230 before in my life. So stretch marks is part of, when you lose weight, those stretch marks show back up. I have noticed since starting the detox more stretch marks than what I started with. Is that something that happens during this?
So it's not so much that they're showing up, is that you're leaning up. So your body is showing again, those marks are coming back closer together, and it will take some time for the skin to repair itself and heal, but it will.
So those will go away.
They will go
eventually.
away, yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
as we get your essential fatty acid levels up, that's the good fats that one of your people were talking about, the cod liver oil, for example. Whenever we look at cod liver oil or flaxseed oil or black currant seed oil, we look at ways to nourish the skin tissue back to its ideal place.
How long would it take, like a stretch mark, to kind of start to fade? Like a long time? I feel like it'd be like...
I think within 30 days we've seen people's
30?
Stretch marks go back away. I mean, you could even apply coconut oil directly to your skin and you'd see it shift and
I just got a visual of Kurt
like
at home.
and him just like bathing in it.
Oh my gosh.
He's cooking on the stove, and he has coconut oil in one hand, just like rubbing it on his stomach and throwing it in the pan.
That's
from
right.
his stomach.
Dancing with my cat. in
Oh,
one
man.
hand.
Oh man.
There's a lot going on right now.
Well,
That is.
so look, detox has been a mainstay in my practice. When people come home from vacations, they need to get back on track. People that have never done a detox, we bring them into a place where they can accelerate the healing process. And it goes back to what we've talked about in the previous videos and things. What you eat is important. Everybody agrees with that. You've got to eat to live, right? But what you don't eat is more important. So trying to show people what foods that are out there that are just marketed to be healthy and getting them to stop eating those or avoiding the processed fast food and stop scarfing and,
Take your time.
Yeah, swallowing our food as opposed to chewing our food. These are all good life habits that we need to realize that, life moves pretty fast. And if we don't stop to look around once in a while, we could miss it.
Yeah.
I also noticed a little bit, and maybe this is just part of who I was at the time, but my teeth, because usually like for the first 3 days, my mouth just felt different.
Did you feel a film or a metallic taste?
It wasn't a taste. It was more so like my teeth felt fragile.
Oh,
and now they're not as fragile, and I'm not feeling like I'm like itching to get to the next meal to eat, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that you're showing neurological changes. You could have had infection in your head. Remember,
Thank God.
did we measure the circumference of
We
your head?
did.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
We're gonna have to
Oh
somehow.
yeah, we did.
We're gonna have to account for the hair cut, but
Oh,
outside of
that's
that,
true.
I mean, it's very possible that you might have lost inches in your skull, and you're thinking, how is that possible? But your head could have been swollen, and that's partly what we call high lymph.
Cardi's like looking
congestion.
at it like, what?
I knew there was something wrong with him.
That's
It's all
funny.
starting to make sense. So everything is affected. We're finding out and learning everything. Literally everything on your body is affected by the food you eat. One of the interesting things that you said earlier is your skin is the outward.
It's a mirror.
Yeah, okay, it's a mirror of what's on
your
the inside.
intestines.
That's crazy. And the other thing that you said last time you were in, when you think about food, we're just like a tract. It's your intestinal tract. It's just like one giant tube.
That's right.
That's what you are. The food you eat is never like actually loose in your body. It just goes in and it goes out.
And it goes out, and then your body takes in what it wants and lets go of what it doesn't need.
You know, I've also
Hopefully.
started to notice people's skins and stuff like that as well during this cleanse. I noticed like I went and had somebody that I went to go get dinner with, but they had like marks all over their skin.
I know.
And I was
come
like,
home-
what?
We're gonna make Kurt more picky on
That's
accident.
right,
He's gonna
that's
be
right.
like, "Oh, they eat processed food."
Supposedly,
look at all the
there's a
marks
new
on
there's a
your
new
skin.
movement right now. You choose your friend's circle through the food they eat.
Interesting.
We
So-
can't be friends anymore, Gardy.
I
I
heard
think Gardy's a good influence on you.
somebody on social media put like an idea, like, oh, a dating app where you kind of go by the memes, like the funny pictures and stuff. If you think it's funny and you match on that instead, so it's a personality thing, and
That's
so
right.
that could be like a food thing too. Like, hey, what kind of food? What do you think about this? You know, and then you
And
just
as
kind
soon
of
as they
see what
start saying
works.
fast food, you just go, oh, well, you change the conversation,
busy.
try to get out of there.
I'm busy.
Well, guys, my name is Dr. Aaron Chop. I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center here in League City is, we want to help as many people as we can get better, stay better, and live better, one bite at a time. And we believe that, if you've got symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with, you don't have to suffer. So give us a call, 281-554-8600, and visit our website at justlivewell.com. We love you guys. We're thankful for the support, and I love this radio station, and that these guys are having a lot of fun, and I'm having a lot of fun with them. So they're getting ready for their next act.
Yep.
One of a close personal friend of mine, Dr. Leland Glopke, they're going to be talking health and structure, and he's a chiropractor here in this area, and a great guy, great friend, great man of God, and we're just excited to bring him on the air.
Yeah, we're gonna have Dr. Leland Glopke in studio right now. It's 9:56. We're gonna hit up the weather, see what's going on right now. They're gonna take a quick break, get Leland in, get him situated, and you're gonna want to stay tuned because we're gonna keep it with the health thoughts in mind. It's gonna be a great time. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5. This is the KHEA Radio Kickstart Weather Center, brought to you by Texas Chronicles, history, mystery, and adventure with courtesy the Cornless Casper.
It's currently 86 degrees right now in Lamarck, Texas. 89 is going to be the high today. It is going to be partly cloudy throughout the day. Tonight, 8 o'clock is your sunset. Tomorrow morning, your sunrise is at 6:47. Wednesday, 90 degrees. Thursday, 91 and sunny. And that's look at your weather for the next couple of days.
Coming up next on KHEA Radio is Building 429, Hearts Collide. You can stream us from anywhere in the world at KHEAradio.com. You can also listen right here at 99.5 FM. We stream live on Facebook every weekday, 9 to 11 a.m. This is 99.5 FM, KHEA Radio. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, I got a surprise for y'all, Bill.
Sweet. We love surprises.
This is from Meteor.
Sweet.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah, we got more core.
So I opened this one yesterday.
Okay.
But give that to Pastor as well.
Sweet.
Don't tell Josh. We got twos. Don't tell Josh. Woohoo. Check it out. So this is some of the stuff that we are taking. So it's core support. Ours is chocolate flavored. And it has some protein in there and some other things. So whenever we talk about
98% amino acid profile.
amino acids,
Yes, sir. sir.
Some
awesome sauce.
So, as far as like protein goes, vegetables they have protein. And how
not as much? Like spinach has a lot of protein. A lot of vegetables lean on beans.
Josh said,
Josh said, I'm watching.
let me just.
That's awesome.
What does it say there?
He said, I'm watching, ... So you're like, we got two. Don't tell Josh. He's like, I'm watching. That's awesome.
I saw he was watching earlier. I didn't know if he was still watching.
That's great.
Josh, are you bloated? What's going on?
Yeah,
Are you feeling
I
good?
haven't heard anything.
Did
he ever
he's
find
been
that
busy.
email I sent him?
I think so. I think. Oh, we need to do our profile.
Yes.
Still.
We need to do that.
So it's
today,
like a
maybe.
questionnaire.
If we get time after, maybe soul to soul. I'll look at that food and be like, remember the days when we could
Hey,
eat
what time
this?
are we meeting today?
I think 5:30.
Okay.
I'll leave here around like 4:30. So
Can we say 5:45?
yeah.
Yep. I feel like I should sneak and go take my restroom break so I can make it through the hour.
This is your time.
Yep.
You can go do that.
All
Thank
right.
you. Awesome. So we have coming up next for our next guest is going to be Leland Glopke of Glopke Family Chiropractic. It's tagged in the video up top, so you can go and learn more about him and his family. I'm excited because I've been to chiropractors before. I've had when I was in college, I had an experience where I woke up one morning and I could not move, and I was like, I can't get out of my bunk bed. You know, I'm up at the top, and I literally roll down, and it was the worst day because I couldn't move my back, and so I was like, I need to go to the doctor for this. So I ended up going to a chiropractor because somebody recommended them, and they did a scan of my back, and I had huge amount of. Hey, Pastor Hallam.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I see your smiling face on that video.
Oh, it's up there every now and then. Yes.
And anyways, I had nerve damage, and so I went to the chiropractor, and they went through my back and jointed it out and knocked it out, and was able to get my back in shape. And so I love chiropractors. I think it's a good use to stay healthy and get your whole mind, body back in.
So I'm so glad I got to meet you.
Well, good. It's great to meet you too. I've heard him mention your name, and I've seen it on Facebook.
We're waiting on Dr.
You know, where people are following.
Glopke and Dr. Chapa to kind of get ready to go here.
Yeah, they're really building a big following.
Yeah.
They're getting.
I mean, whatever.
It's nothing for them to get 15, 20,000 responsive views, man.
Yeah. I mean, just to have the patient come in there.
Yeah.
What's up, Kurt?
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Sorry to make you sooner.
No worries, man. I didn't want to interrupt with Aaron. Aaron's doing a good job and stuff.
Yeah, it's been
This is going to bring like a different twist because I talk more and specialize in a couple of different things over him.
sweet. Yeah, because you do chiropractor stuff.
Yeah, I'm more like straight disc herniation, sciatica pain, neck pain, headaches. That's kind of more where I deal. I'm going to boost him up because nutrition absolutely plays a part in it. You have to detox, otherwise the tissue won't hold. It doesn't matter how many times I move it. If you're not stabilizing the tissue properly, it's just not going to hold properly. People always want to know why their adjustments don't hold. Yeah, it's because they eat like crap.
Yeah.
Or they don't exercise, or they're not sleeping properly. And it could be a bone out of place, or it could be a deficiency, or it's a combination of all that. I truly believe it's a combination.
I do too.
It's not one magic bullet, but like I'll just kind of tell you, and when you do a C1 adjustment, I kind of classically put it. It's your reboot center.
You want me to talk into the microphone?
Yeah, just a little bit. So
like right here?
We're live on Facebook right now, so
Oh wow!
just our audience.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey man, I've never done this before, so holy cow!
This is so sophisticated. These guys.
That is
Yeah.
course sport.
Yeah. So you were saying the tissues, if you're not nutritionist, like if you're not putting in the proper nutrition, your tissues will not kind of come back when you tear it apart.
Yeah, you kind of put this down to take it into like a vehicle. You can have the best vehicle in the world. You can have a Lamborghini, but if you don't maintenance it properly, that tissue is going to break down anyway. And then you're just going to have a very expensive, hood ornament that's sitting in like a toilet in your front yard. It's going to be worthless. So
when you take what Dr. Chapa was talking about with nutrition and deficiencies, doing a detox is not what I specialize in, but it's what I talk to people. I mean, that if fundamentally, if you're unhealthy on a core issue, nutrition wise, spine wise, you have to get that under control. You have to clean it out. I heard it put one way is, if you have a land that you want to plant and it's just weeded up, you got to go scrape it and clean it down and then reseed it.
Back in. I guess Josh Rudolph, he had said that he had done something with you before, like a detox or a cleanse or something. Is it kind of similar to this?
Well, yeah, more than likely with Josh. Josh had early on, he had some issues with his neck, and I talked to him about some of that type of stuff. And we talked more supplemental, more friendship wise, not really on the professional level. I just kind of gave him some advice and some things that I do. And, we've gone and worked out together before. And
is he pretty strong? He's watching.
With Josh, yeah, he surprised me a couple of times.
Who's stronger? You or Josh?
Oh, it's the proper question would be my pastor, but no.
That's what Josh said. He was like, "Hey, Leland's like one of the strongest guys that I've been around." I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
When I was working out very, very like early on, I can throw a lot of weight around when I get my mindset to it. So yeah.
How much weight are we talking about?
Now or when I was early on?
Either. Well, let's do now.
Okay, now. Yeah, are we talking like bench max?
Sure. Yeah.
Probably 345.
Wow.
Maybe.
That's insane. That's literally insane. So, and how does that affect your bone structure?
Well, again, you have to do it properly. That's one of the other fundamental things. I'll go to the gym and Josh, if you ever get to talk to him, I've done this before to where I'll be in the gym and because I'm biomechanically, that's what I specialize in, being a chiropractor, biomechanics and appendicular biomechanics, spinal biomechanics. I'm looking for proper posture, proper things to do it. And when I watch people in the gym, I see improper form all the time. And you may be chunking weight, left and right. I've seen like in a bench press. Specifically, what I've seen people is they'll take the weight or the bar all the way down to their chest and bounce it off their chest. Fundamentally, that eliminates it being just a pec or a chest press. It engages the shoulder. When you break 90 degrees, your labrum gets involved. That's why you see a lot of guys, man, they get shoulder injuries because they're just improper form. So I don't care if you're benching 400 pounds. If you're doing it improperly, you are causing damage.
Wow.
Because it's no longer just a chest press. Have somebody, I could almost take that person that does 400 pounds and put them under a press of like 335 and tell them to do it properly, and they probably couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because they're now engaging other support muscles that shouldn't be involved in that type of press. You can get more from a workout doing it properly, less weight, than improperly with more weight.
Yeah.
Because again, you're setting yourself up like on a squat. You should never break 90 degrees on a squat. And you see
people
these guys,
go all the way
CrossFit guys.
Yeah.
It's
they
too
take
much
pride
torque.
in it. They take pride in it. Yeah.
But it's too much engaging on the knee. At 21 years old, 25 years old, it's not a big deal. But when you get my age, 43, and you've been doing that for 10 years, that's why you have back pain. That's why you have knee pain. That's why you have all these other issues.
There's a lot of injuries in and not
there
just
is.
CrossFit, but a lot of people who, I guess, form wise, but CrossFit kind of got so big so fast. It seems that it was highlighted.
You have, CrossFit's a phenomenal way to work out. It takes a lot of combination moves, interval training, burns a lot of fat, cardio, all of that in once. But the harsh reality is a lot of these guys are not trained biomechanically, and they're doing these moves that are just horrible for the function of the body and the spine. You got to remember, taking this back to what I preach in my office and what I believe in my office, the spine, the skull, the spinal cord, and all that is protected by the bones. Okay. God did an amazing thing when he built our bodies. He gave us the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. That's our control center. That controls everything. So what Dr. Chapa was talking about before, your spine has to be fully functional in order for you to digest your food properly. I don't care what food you're putting in there. If it's not working properly, you're not going to break the food down properly, which essentially is going to be, you're going to be malnourishment because you're not absorbing properly. So where I talk in my office is, and where I specialize in is, I want to fundamentally get you back to where your body functions properly. So that when you do move into the detox and these other areas of your life, so you do sleep better. Why? Because your function's better. Well, if you're not sleeping better and we've got the function going, well, then it's got to be a deficiency. Then we can kind of narrow it down instead of just doing guesswork.
Interesting. What about it?
This mic needs to go up, right?
It's all right. No, his levels are good.
Okay.
His levels are good. Okay, so we have a minute and 11 seconds. So this is kind of a marathon. It just counts down. So
Okay.
After that hits 0, we'll go on.
So do I
on
need
the
to
air.
keep these on?
You know,
off?
we usually right now I have them. You can take it off now, or put it on in a minute or whatever. You'll see. Just kind of do what we do, and you'll be good. I'll put mine on just so we can hear. And
Yeah, I can hear. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So I mean, that's just kind of where. So when you talk about like working out,
Yeah.
When I was 29 and I did my first bodybuilding show, and I only did one, and it was
Mhm.
just I got talked into it. And when I was working out, like chest, I get stronger the longer the workout is. Where a lot of people are very strong in the beginning,
and
and
then kind of go down.
yeah, and it has to do with white twitch and red muscle twitch fibers. And anyway, so on bench press, I would do 3 sets of 8 of 365. On incline, I was working out with 315 to 335.
Yeah,
You know, and I was weighing 170 pounds.
yeah, that's insane.
And so that's and that wasn't my bench max. That was me working out.
Yeah,
And so it was very tough for a lot of people to keep up with me. Now I'm 43. I don't do that anymore. I've gotten lazy at times and don't work out quite as much.
you ready? Be lifted high. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We have a special guest in studio. We had Dr. Chop in for the first hour. Now we have his good friend, Dr. Leland Globke.
Yes. Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be talking about chiropractic services, talking about why being in alignment is so important. What does that actually mean? Curt, you've been to a chiropractor before?
I have. I've been to a chiropractor in college. The first one I went to, they immediately recognized that most of my nerves in my back were not functioning the way that they should because my spine had pushed against them and made it so that they wouldn't. And so they went through and pushed back my spine into alignment again, and I felt so much better. It was you could see the difference, physically see the difference. I felt the difference. It was cool.
So we were talking a little bit before we went on the air just now about how the spine and the nerves and how that's all connected. Can you kind of break that down again?
Yeah. So when in my practice, I try to teach a lot and try to get people fundamentally understand why they should get adjusted. Most people, or the consensus is why they go to the chiropractor is, okay, I have back pain or neck pain or whatever. And they don't look at it on, if somebody asks them, it's like, well, why are you going to the chiropractor? Well, I want to be able to have people come in for function. And when you look at it, you have the skull, the spinal column, and the bones and that type of stuff that are encasing and protecting the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerve tissue. Those are the most delicate tissues in our body. Those have to be fully functional. So no one can refute or argue that your brain has to send a message to your colon to tell it to work, to digest food. That all happens. You don't have to think about it. Automatically happens through the part of our nervous system that's involuntary.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I try to teach is that if something is going on, it could be possible that there is an interference from that channel. It's like the bridge from Galveston.
Yeah.
You blow up the bridge, you're not getting out of Galveston.
Right.
You got to find another way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can be very, very similar. Traffic comes to a halt if that, or somebody gets in there and blocks the bridge, due to an accident. You're not getting by, you're stuck. Doesn't mean that people aren't coming up behind you. So your brain can still be sending the message, just not getting there. So you have dysfunction. So it can lead to deficiency, that type of thing. So what we were talking about earlier, where I believe and what I know is truth, and the studies can prove it, is that when you take pressure off a nerve, you can allow the electrical impulse from the brain to fully get there at that time. Now, go ahead.
Can you look at somebody and say, hey, like I can tell that person's spine is out of alignment?
Well, functionally, I pay attention to people all the time, biomechanically, how they're walking. That's just what I specialize in. I may be good at what I do, but I don't have x-ray vision. You need to see the spine. And without it, you could be the best chiropractor in the world, but you're still guessing. I don't know. You can have a congenital anomaly. There are some contraindications to being adjusted. And the only way that you're going to find those out is if you do an x-ray, if it's something structural. Sometimes there could be a deformity at C1, C2, so you should be. It doesn't mean you can't be adjusted in the lower spine, but you should not have a cervical adjustment. And you won't find those things unless you did an x-ray. Now, there is a deformity called Chiari malformation, which is a deformity or an anomaly of the brainstem where it kind of herniates out further through the skull and the foramen magnum. Now that you would need an MRI to be able to determine that, or a CAT scan, those types of things that do a soft tissue exam. You wouldn't see that on an x-ray. And I've had a couple of those in my practice of 15 years.
Cool. You know, I have gone to a chiropractor off and on for the past 2 years, actually 2 different ones. And they always ask a lot of questions. And I feel like that's probably one of the most important things, is just like listening and finding out, okay, what are you doing? Why'd you come in? You know, why do you think? And then for me, it was an issue of, I feel like when I walk, like one leg's longer than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to the point where it was bugging me. So like, I love to play basketball. I love to do stuff like that, but it was not necessarily fun anymore, just because, okay, this is annoying. It's becoming not fun. And then I developed knots all up and down the backside of my leg. And so I went in, they're like, oh yeah, so we have to get those knots out, but that's because your pelvis is shifted. There's pressure on there. And then, you know, it messed up your leg and the knots healed because it's like, yeah, it thought it healed, but I don't know. So it was a big mess, but the knots are gone, but I still have that shift. And I just like, I try and do these stretches, and that's really what they told me. And I was like,
so I kind of would look at that differently. And again, without an x-ray or without knowing the whole history and the story of where you're dealing with it, is, you know, you can use an analogy based on braces on teeth. You know, you go into a dentist or an orthodontist, they could take an x-ray and they know pretty much based on that and their history of how long you're going to need to wear those brackets. So you look at your pelvis. A lot of times through an x-ray, we can determine how long the problem's been there. And then that way we can put together an appropriate plan on how long it's going to take to fix it, if that is what your goal. Some people choose not to fix their problems. Some people choose to just Band-Aid it and let me get them out of pain, or even going to a chiropractor and using us as an expensive Tylenol. You know, some people choose to do that. I don't believe that that's the correct way. So, but I don't ever twist anybody's arm. It's your health. It's your decision. It's like what Dr. Chapa was saying. It's like, we're here to teach you guys to give you a different avenue and a lifestyle. Some people choose to follow our advice and recommendations. Some people choose not to. The ones that I've used into where I use x-ray and I can prove it and I can talk to you about, and then show x-rays periodically to show the correction that we're doing in spine. That's where I try to specialize my practice in, is I don't want to just be a Band-Aid. I want to take your pelvis with you and identify how frequently you would need to be adjusted in order to correct that problem, and then eventually get you to a point of maintenance. So I've had people talk about chiropractic like, man, I hear once you go, you always got to go. Yeah, I mean, that's an adage that I've heard in my office 15 years. I've had it many, many times. And I always try to tell people, it's like, okay, listen, would you ever stop brushing your teeth?
I wouldn't. Kurt, would you?
Most people chuckle at that.
Possibly?
Yeah. And so I asked them, I said, so why would you not stop? Why would you not stop brushing your teeth? So, well, I want to prevent a cavity, Well, and I asked them, I was like, well, you can get dentures. Why would you stop trying to keep your spine healthy? And that's fundamental. One of the things that I teach in my office that I truly believe, and this is something that I've practiced on, that I stage on and everything, that there are 5 fundamentals to proper health. Number 1 is your relationship with Jesus Christ. That has to be fundamental, because he's responsible for the healing anyway. You know, we as chiropractors, we just move the bone. We get the privilege of being involved, but we're not the ones doing the healing. It's your own body. So if you have that, second is going to be chiropractic alignment, keeping your spine healthy. And I'm talking even at birth. A lot of people, I treat children, I treat from infancy, from birth, all the way to elderly. It's because you need to make sure that the spine is healthy. And I've had people say, well, why would you get a child adjusted? Have you ever witnessed a birth? It's not a gentle process. So with like colic, ear infections, you know, those types of things, you can help eliminate if you just check the spine and get them adjusted. Now, the next 3 can be in any order: proper nutrition, proper exercise, and proper rest. And when I say proper exercise, just because you work out doesn't mean you're doing it properly. Just because you exercise doesn't mean you're doing it properly. I've seen people that struggle with their weight and they've done the dieting, they've done the correction on the nutrition, and they're just working out improperly. They're not stimulating their system properly. And that's where Dr. Chapa or myself or some other chiropractors that are specialized in that we can help them. And then proper sleep. If you're not sleeping properly, and when I say properly, anywhere from about 5 to 8 hours to where your body can regenerate and healthy, your tissue will not heal. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter how you feed it.
More than 8 hours would be bad, though?
Yeah. It's a little bit too long for most people.
5 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's just shocking.
I feel sometimes if you sleep too long, then you're just kind of like you get used to it, and you're like you're not really sleeping. You're just laying around, kind of being a little lazy.
Well, yeah. Well, there's cycles in the body. I mean, it's called a
Yeah.
circadian cycle. It's your sleep cycle. What we've seen, or what I've seen in my 15 years, especially being in this area, we have a lot of plant workers that have shift work.
Mm-hmm.
It throws them off. It's going to throw your hormones off. It's going to throw where most people are convenience eating and they're wolfing their food down, like Dr. Chapa was talking about, and it's not digesting properly. And so if it doesn't digest properly, you have no building blocks for your hormones and function. So, the big thing now for men over the age of 30 is like, wow, go get your, low T center, go get your T shot, go get all this. Well, synthetically, it's altering your body chemistry, giving it a reason that it doesn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to shut off.
Yeah.
And so there's other side effects that are associated with that, where chiropractic, we're more holistic and more natural. It's not bashing medicine. Please don't think that that's the way that we're going. It's just in my practice, I've seen the way I practice. Primarily, the number one condition I deal with is low back pain. Well, that can be caused by many, many different facets. Neck pain, and then headaches. And then what really is enjoyable that I've had fun with is getting someone that came in maybe for headaches or back pain. And then we start adjusting them and their body starts healing. We start teaching them about nutrition and their body starts healing, and they're, like Dr. Chapa talks about, their allergies go away and they're off their allergy meds, or they're off their heartburn medication. Not that I take them off of them. It's just that those symptoms start going away. They taper their own medication.
Yeah.
And they get healthy.
Yeah. My mom told me, I guess her brother, so it's my uncle, he recently lost 30 pounds. I need to talk to him and see how he did it. But doing so, getting healthy, whatever he was doing, like all these medications he was taking, he instantly didn't have to take it anymore, like cholesterol, like all these different medicines she was naming. And I was like, man, that's awesome.
Well, I've talked to people, when you kind of look at genetics is part of the equation, but it's not the holistic part of the equation. I kind of equate it to where it's only about 10 to 15% of your issues that you have is genetics. That means 85% of why you're where you're at is your fault. What are you doing or not doing? So when you look at a body that is healthy and functioning properly, it is unable to hold on to excess weight. It's just unable to. It can't do it unless you're just feeding it garbage and garbage and garbage. But if it's functional, I'm 43 years old and I used to not work out all the time, but I stay very, very lean because my hormones are balanced and I don't eat a perfect diet, but my body processes food properly. And that's where Dr. Chapa was getting into is, that lady that called in Stephanie, with her mom. A lot of times people have been doing it for so long, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to drop 18, 15 pounds like Stephanie did. It may take them, they may drop 5 pounds in 60 days and just be discouraged. But if they stick to it, because there's a lot of damage that you have to repair.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. And then like in my office, I'll get people that have, oh man, I went here and I went to physical therapy and you're my last resort. I'm in so much agony. And I'm like, okay, are you going to be shocked that it doesn't go away in one visit, two visits? But I look at it differently. And the way I'm very bold in how I speak, I don't have a problem telling somebody if they need a long-term plan to correct it. It's because I know it's going to work and I know what I know, and I don't argue with people. If you're just wanting the Band-Aid, just tell me. We could get you out of pain, but don't be mad when it comes back, because it will.
Can you imagine, though, how long it would take for me to correct 28 years of cheese in my diet?
I feel like it'd be easy. We just cut your stomach open and squeeze it out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a roll of toothpaste. When you roll it up, we just kind of get you
That's
out.
all it
And
is.
that's how they do it surgically. I mean, that's what would happen. They pull everything out on the table, squeeze it out like a tube, and put it back in. I'm just kidding.
My mouth just dropped a little bit.
He's
for
like,
sure.
he's like, where do I schedule that? Let's do
I
it.
know.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So I have a goal. Like my goal is whenever I'm one day, I consider myself, 70, 80 years old. I just want to still be able to get around. I want to be able to drive to the store. If I want to go and walk on the treadmill or walk in the neighborhood, that's my goal. And so I'm 32 years old. And so I've gotten to this point where there's little like aches, and not necessarily aches, but things that weren't there 10 years ago. And I'm starting to notice. So I was like, man, okay, I need to pay closer attention to what I eat. If I need to go to a chiropractor, I don't want my hips to keep like, what's going to happen? Like if they keep shifting and then one day I'm just going to be walking with a limp, because you see people like that. And so,
but, because like what I've talked in my office, when I get people a rotation or a change in leg length that a lot of people talk is very common. And it's because either men sit on the wallets, women cross their legs. You're doing something that is a daily micro trauma. And when I say that, it's an altered in function, or it changes the joint movement and the mobility of it. And abnormal function or abnormal motion in a joint is what will lead to arthritis and degeneration in that joint. So what we do is we identify the factors that are contributing to that change in your pelvis. Because if you're coming in and I'm adjusting you, and then you could leave and go sit on your wallet, you're just undoing everything. So it's never going to fix. So we have to identify that. That's why the history taking is so important. That's why sitting down and taking x-rays and putting it all together and puzzling it all back together.
Take my wallet out.
Exactly.
I usually do that
because that will rotate it.
How
it acts
big
like
of an
a
issue?
shim.
That's an issue then.
Yeah.
That's the first
Absolutely.
thing. When I went to the chiropractor, I had my wallet in my back pocket, and he goes, never put it in your back pocket ever.
Be like, doctor, there's no money in here. there's nothing in here.
But you put it in your side pocket, and it's going to be better. So I just developed a habit now where my wallet sits in my side pocket. It never goes in my back pocket.
Hey, Kurt, I'm not meaning to cut you off. So I'm reminded of something like you said that it's like very thin, very small. How could that disrupt the function? I've heard, I can't remember exactly who heard this. Maybe Pastor had said it a long time ago, but you can be 99% truth and 1% false. It's still false.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much to distort it or change it or make it not what it's supposed to be. So it can be 1 millimeter of rotation or some change, and I get this one because it's like, oh, well, I slept wrong. How do you sleep wrong? Pain is not something that is supposed to happen to us. It is a warning sign or an alarm that God built into us to let us know something is off. A lot of people don't pay attention to it. What you need to understand about pain is typically in issues with symptoms, it's usually the last thing that shows up, but it's the first thing that goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And if you understand the scientific side of it, in order for pain to show up on a nerve, if we're going to kind of break it down, you have to kind of look at a nerve as being like coaxial cable or like cables.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's say you have 100 fibers in there. In order to distort the picture, you have to have 60% of those fibers compromised. Well, in the nerve system for the body, you have to have 60% function loss for pain to show up. So I challenge people, what if that's the nerve going to your heart and you're at 59%? You don't know.
Right.
But how long can your heart function at 41% before it gives out? Or your colon, or your liver, or your spleen, or your kidney, or your eyes. All of these things are functional that have to be operating at 100% the way that God designed it. That's what it means to be truly healthy. Just because you're symptom free or you don't have pain, or you're not paying attention to the little ache in your shoulder or a little crick in your back or that little spasm that you got in your leg. These are all things that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I think one of the things too is a lot of society today too is like, well, just a little pain, that doesn't mean anything. I'm a man, like that kind of stuff where we're not paying attention to something that's bothering us because we're scared.
Just wait it. Sometimes I wait it out. Like, okay, something's up, I'm going to wait, wait a couple days, see depending on what it is, hopefully it'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe it does.
Well, we've been told that it's got to be muscle or there's something different. It couldn't be that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard this one. It's like, I've heard some in that walk in, they finally come in and they go, I didn't want to come in because I didn't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, it's like if you take a cavity, all right, if you go into your dentist and you have a cavity and you get a little pain, not all the time, but when you get something cold, it's there. And he's going to look at it and you go, hey, look, we got two options. Now we can clean it up, drill it, fill it, or we can just give you a little shot of Novocaine, cover it up. Which one would you choose? I mean, common sense is you would fix it, right?
Yeah.
But in chiropractic and their spine, a lot of people choose the Novocaine.
Let's make it better right now. I'll get through it.
Think about that statement.
Yeah.
And so if you don't fix the cavity, what's eventually going to happen?
It's going to rot your tooth.
It's eventually going to lead to rot it, and then you're going to have to either root canal or pull it out. Some guys can understand the concept about your car alignment. When your car alignment's off, what's the first thing that you typically notice? Well, it starts pulling maybe to the right or left.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get out and you see your tires wearing unevenly. So a lot of people will just rotate their tires. And they keep rotating until eventually it's no longer an alignment problem. And now it's a $3,000 axle or whatever.
I see that with my shoes. Like you say tires, but just how I look at the bottom of my I love shoes. I'm a big shoe person. And so I'll look at shoes and I've had these shoes for however long. And if they're wearing unevenly in like different spots, like, okay, on this one, it's like on the pad of my foot. And then on this one, it's like the corner of my foot. And then the back of the shoe is more worn than this one. And it's just because of I guess, how you walk and the pressure and the alignment.
Well, it's your impact. So you got to remember, from your feet all the way to the pelvis, everything starts at the foundation of your pelvis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your spine is the foundation. If you're off, it's going to start there. So if you're impacting is different. It's like I try to tell people, shoulder problems don't necessarily start just because you fell on it. A lot of times they can start like a baseball player.
Yeah.
If you it's going to be hard to visualize for everybody, but if a baseball player is supposed to throw this way and they're pitching and something kind of tweaks a little bit and they start throwing this way, that's an abnormal motion of the shoulder. If they keep throwing that way, how long is it going to take before the shoulder wears out?
Mm-hmm.
It's biomechanics. It's kinetic. So when I look at shoes, because I do that every day, I see people, how they stand, how they walk. It's just habit, just because of what I've been doing this for a long time. And, when you look at shoes, you can tell it's going to be in the pelvis, unless they've had a knee replacement that but 32 years old, you haven't had any injuries or trauma. And that's the biggest issue where it comes down to, is people understand is, how do these problems happen? How do these misalignments happen? Well, we do them on a daily basis. Texter's neck, we're looking down, sitting at computers improperly, shifting our weight improperly, or it could be chemical. Our body's not having the proper nutrition to support tissue to stabilize it, so it gets weaker. Or you have traumas like car accidents, slips, falls. And what a lot of times people don't even realize, that you could have been skating as a kid, fell down a couple of times. That's trauma. Falling off your bicycle, getting bucked off a horse, falling off a trampoline, falling out of a tree. When kids start walking, what's the one place that they start falling on? Their rear end.
Mm-hmm.
Is it feasible that they may shift something, even though they can't say, hey, daddy, it hurts right here?
Yeah.
But they may have digestive changes. They may have issues like that.
The first time I went to a chiropractor, I was in the 8th grade, and it was junior high football. I ended up pinching a nerve in my neck and while playing. And so I had to sit out for a while, and I went to a practice in Galveston, and they were looking at my back, and the first thing they told me, they were like, well, were you in a car wreck? Were you ever in a car wreck? I was like, no, I've never been in a major car wreck. They said, have you ever had anything traumatic happen? Your back looks like you've been in a car wreck or something. And I was like, no, I haven't. So I went for a while, the crick went away, played football, again that season, but it always was interesting. I was always trying to figure out, but I did. I mean, jump as a kid, jumping out of trees, at a tree house, jumping fences, landing on your back, all these little things that I guess can add up.
Yes, sir.
And then, eventually impact football. How do you feel about football and sports and injuries and all that? That doesn't seem like it's
man. I mean,
it's
if we're going to
business.
get into biomechanics and we're going to talk about all the trauma, obviously with the concussion protocols and all those things, it's biomechanically and physiologically to the body, it's a horrible game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've heard one thing to where they equate it like a linebacker will have 100 mini accidents in one football game.
Wow.
I mean, helmet to helmet, you're jarring the spine. It seems like, it's incidental, but all that stuff is cumulative. It all adds up. And you got to remember, the spinal cord and the spinal fluid that's in there, that helps with the transmission of those impulses. And if you start closing those things off due to whatever, a rotation, whatever it is, that can be diagnosed, you start looking at you're interfering with that function from the brain to tell the body to do what it's supposed to do. That is fundamentally why people need to go get a chiropractor. Don't wait until pain shows up. It may be too late at that point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can show up to where you have allergies or heartburn or whatever. I'm not saying that we cure those things, so please don't think that. But it is inevitable. If you get the pressure off the nervous system, the body will heal itself. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how God did it. He gave us an innate healing inside of our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I joke sometimes in my office, because it's mine, I could do it. And I'll adjust people in C1, which is their atlas. It's a very, very powerful adjustment. Not all chiropractors really know how to do it perfectly. But when you adjust that, I've told people, it's like, look, all I'm doing is just releasing Jesus. That's all I'm doing. He's going to get all the glory. He's the one that does the healing. He just gave me a very specialized type of knowledge to do what I do. And I give him all the glory. I'm very good at what I do, but it's only because he gave me that gift.
Yeah. The body's crazy, just how it's designed and all that. And it can eventually, like your skin, or you do different things and it heals itself.
It's kind of interesting. And while you're sitting there, I felt something that, our profession is very, very unique. We get to lay hands on the people that are sick in our office.
Mm-hmm.
It's very amazing. We get to pray for them, or I do. And it's cool when you get to see the body do what God wanted it to do. It's pretty amazing.
So where are you located? Because I know can you kind of give us a little bit of history about where, because I've been following a little bit and just heard stuff. about what happened, last year around this time, and where are you at now?
Yeah, so I own Dickinson Family Chiropractic. It was on 517 in Dickinson, right next to Hills Liquor and Ziegler's Foods over there on 517. And unfortunately, we were flooded, lost the office, and didn't get to go back there. So I relocated to a colleague of mine, Dr. Kevin Davis at Pro Health Family Chiropractic in Friendswood. And I've been there since the storm, trying to get back over here. It's been very difficult for a lot of my patients to make it over there. Traffic's horrible, and some of them just won't make the drive. So it's been challenging, to say the least, trying to recapture my clientele that was over here in Dickinson. And I remember I was talking to Curt when we were with Josh, and my church family is a very strong burden on my heart. I hate seeing anybody in pain, when especially I know I can help them. And I challenged just to say that, when Tim Story was here, and I'd be in the meetings and I'd be watching people go up there, he'd be calling them down, anybody with back pain or neck pain or headaches or whatever. And it grieved my heart. Really, really did, because I'm here and I know I can help them. And a lot of people didn't know who I was. And a lot of that is because my own challenges with trying to get involved and dealing with my kids and, practice and business and all that stuff. So, I'm not blaming anybody for not knowing who I was, but I have a unique burden on my heart for my specific church family.
I think people just don't know. People don't know that there's another way to live, or, my dad had back pain, his dad had back pain. That's just what we do. You get old and have back pain.
And that's why I'm thankful that you guys invited me to come on the show, because, getting awareness out, whether it's me or anybody, I've challenged people that I've heard, they say, I went to a chiropractor once and it didn't help. Well, then find a different chiropractor. Listen, chiropractic science, it works. If it's not working for you, find a different one.
And it's not always like I've been to some chiropractors where it's like, oh, I'm going to push really, really hard on these moments, on these different parts of your body to get you to break. It's not always that, right?
No, I think that's the biggest misnomer is, I've had patients that have come in, they've gone to other chiropractors, say, well, it hurt. And it doesn't hurt. It shouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. I don't want it to hurt, but you're trying to feel like, oh, the pressure and all that. And then it's like, okay, it's there. And then it's almost like I don't know.
Well, I think everybody's seen the movies,
Yeah.
They're afraid you're going to break their neck, or, because it's just a lot of bad information. And again, I would challenge my chiropractic colleagues. It's bad education is what happens. We got people that hear one thing, or they did this or whatever, and they don't have the true information. So, the chiropractic adjustment's not what you see that we're going to do like the movies. People say, oh man, I'm afraid you're going to break my neck. And it's well, let's just physiologically look at it. And that's what I do. I teach a lot of times. Like if I challenge you, I said, hey, listen, turn your head to the right as far as you can go. And then turn your head all the way to the left as far as you can go. And I'll say, hey, did you die? And they're like, no. I was like, well, great. I'm not even going to go close to that. So if you didn't hurt yourself, there's no way I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah. It's 10:36. We're talking to Dr. Leland Globke. He's a local chiropractor. He's a part of this church at Abundant Life, and we're proud to have him in talking about, living healthy. We had Dr. Chapa in studio as well, talking about, eating and diet and nutrition. Now we're talking about structural and all the things that we really don't know. And we'd like to spread awareness so that way people can live without pain. People can get rid of headaches. People can walk straight. I can get my feet evened out. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. But I don't know. There's just so much we could take this like in any direction right now.
Well, you hit on one about headaches. One of the most common factors that we have is the muscles in the neck, and you could take it by somebody having bad posture because they lean forward.
Yeah.
Well, just if you take dynamics, if your head's going forward, the muscles on the back of the neck have to stay tight to try to hold your head up. Well, those muscles attach at the base of the skull. Well, if they get tight, or you have nerves and arteries that can trigger headaches. You can take a Tylenol all day long, but it's going to keep coming back.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I don't really get headaches. Curt, do you get headaches?
A lot. Yeah.
Whenever I get one, it's like a bad day because it's very rare and I never have them. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is where my wife knows. I'm like, where's the headache medicine? But I've been very fortunate.
No, that's good. Dude. I mean, headaches are debilitating. I don't battle headaches as myself, but I've had a couple in my lifetime. Anybody that deals with them on a daily basis. It's unbelievable the type of issues that I have. And, in my office, I love adjusting. that's what I went to school for.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the therapies, but one of the other specific things that I do in my office is spinal decompression. I've had this specific type of table in my office for disc herniations, bulges, sciatica issues that are caused by disc herniation from trauma, falls, or whatever. And I've utilized this table to save, I would say, hundreds of people from surgery
Mm-hmm.
who have thought that that's their only hope. And this type of therapy is out there to heal the disc, and that's what it's specifically designed for. And I've been using this therapy in my office for 11 years, going on 12 years.
Cool. Do you have any like specific stories where somebody came in and maybe they had almost like a testimonial, like where you literally helped change their life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded of this one woman, and I won't say her name for privacy, but
Mhm.
she had gone and already had a 4-level fusion. She had already had neck surgery, and she lost the entire senior year of her son because she was overly medicated from the pain, headaches, just couldn't function. And somebody referred her to me. She found me, and I was able to x-ray her, knowing that I wasn't going to move the fusion, but she had issues above the fusion that was triggering the tension. And we were able, through a period of time, to be able to get her off of all the meds, all the pain meds. She was now just on Aleve and ice, that type of stuff to control inflammation. But I remember her crying in my office, just saying, thank you for giving her life back.
Wow.
And I have countless stories like that.
Mhm.
One of the ones that is one of my favorites is when I started out in practice very, very early on. And these people, they'll let me say their name because they've already given it. And they live out in Nederland, Mauriceville is where I started out in Nederland with Dr. Beatty. Chris Keithan and Christy Keithan. They came in my office. They both worked at the prison. She was coming in for back pain, and I'll kind of cliff notes the story. Throughout that, I looked at her x-rays, and she had a little bit of curvature in her lumbar spine. I said, yeah, typically when we see this, sometimes the function disrupts the uterus and you can't get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And they both just kind of went white. Like, when I say, they go, we've been trying for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. They said, we're about to start a fertility study. And I said, look, just hold off a little bit. And in 2 months, they were pregnant. And they had been trying for 8 years.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Now, I didn't do anything. All
Yeah.
I did is just open up the flow so the body can function. That's what I do.
Those are things you don't really think about.
No.
They didn't even think about that, already going looking for the other options, and that's things that can happen.
Yeah, their daughter, Riley, he calls me today. He and I are still really, really good friends and talk each day. And it's a phenomenal guy. That daughter, it's just amazing. Those stories, and that happens in every chiropractic office. If you went to any one, we all have our own stories. We all have these things to where, the body was able to heal. We just happened to be the chiropractor that they chose for that. And it happens. It's amazing because chiropractic is just phenomenal. It really is.
Yeah. So growing up, did you know that you were going to one day become a chiropractor, be a doctor, go into the health side of things?
No. I have an identical twin. That's a chiropractor in Monroe, Louisiana. And, at 9 years old, he knew. My dad hurt his back. And this is our inference. Doctors went everywhere. He worked for Brown Root at the time. And somebody at work told him to go to this Dr. McPherson, who passed away. But he's a phenomenal chiropractor who my brother learned from. I'm 9 years old. My dad walked in like an L, walked out almost upright after one adjustment. And my brother was hooked. So I tell this story about how I got into it. Is I didn't want to be a chiropractor. I really didn't. I wanted to do something else. I was in accounting. I was doing finance. I was doing sports medicine, anything but chiropractic. My brother was in, and he and I were living together when he went to school, and he would just, practice on me.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of times, he just got tired of me being the one getting adjusted. So he started showing me how to do it. Okay. And I just was very good at it. It was almost uncanny at how good he would say that I was. And when he graduated chiropractic college, it took about almost 3.5 years for him to do it. And he goes, man, you need to go to school. I was like, I don't want to be a chiropractor. He goes, Leland, you need to go find out why you adjust. He goes, you're already better than a lot of people that I already get adjusted by. And so I fought it for about another 3 to 4 years, and until finally God told me, and I went. And
I think he wanted to do a thing where you go to work one day and he goes to work the next day.
that would be awesome, but yeah.
It's like, I'm taking a sick day. You're going in.
Yeah, we don't look that much alike. I'm the before picture. He's the like 30 pounds heavier than I am. He's way more muscular than I am. So
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's pretty cool. That's actually a really cool story.
yeah.
And how it's funny how things work out.
You know, I'll look on the function side, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Gardy. One of my favorite stories was when I very started out, just like the Christy Keithan one. There was a young lady that came in, very thin, very tall, just was battling issues and And in a very short period of time, just some things that we learn in school are physiological. People think that we don't get educations back where we're at, but she had this disorder that I just kind of picked up on. Out of her history, I kind of knew it. And I go into x-ray her, and I was doing an AP where we're taught to elevate the head, the chin out of the way. And she had a goiter that popped out on her neck. And I kind of stopped, and I was like, said, so-and-so, do you know what Graves' disease is? And it's a thyroid condition that affects primarily women, and it can kill them if it's undiagnosed properly. And she said no. And I said, well, look, you need to go leave my office, go get this test, and this test. And, you know, within a week she did. She came back and she goes, thank you so much. She goes, it is Graves' disease. They got me on the medication. Wow. Thank you for saving my life. And because she had been misdiagnosed for many, many years. And it was something that was just, I think I was just meant to be the one that picked it up.
Yeah.
Not saying anything about the other doctors, but it just, I was the one that picked it up, and, you know,
that's
she
cool.
credits me to saving her life.
We have Stacy Cook, who's watching on our Facebook live stream. She said, Dr. Glopke has helped lower my blood pressure.
Yeah, that's Stacy. He's a phenomenal guy. He's one of my patients. He's a great guy. And yeah, you know, we identified some things on x-ray specifically on him. Now, again, I'm not making claims that I'm lowering it. What I'm doing is taking pressure off that helps his body calm and regulate its system by itself. That's what we're doing. He's the only one that can make that decision with his doctor to take him off of medication. I don't ever tell anyone to stop.
Yeah.
But if they ask me my opinion, I would tell them what I would do if it were me.
Yeah.
And what I know can happen. And so, yeah, his it's not 100%, but he's got several other issues. But yeah, that's one of them. And his blood pressure is coming down.
Yeah. Something Dr. Chapa said, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, is just how medicine and, you know, doing stuff like this, they call it a practice. And that's not really something that you think about like, hey, I'm going to practice guitar. I'm going to practice drawing. I'm going to practice medicine. So you said whenever someone comes in, it's almost a guess, not a guess, but you're kind of like, okay, you know your stuff. And can you kind of just talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, you know, that's why we have the tools that we have. You know, you look at functional medicine like Dr. Chapa practices. That's why we do blood testing. That's why we do the nutrient mineral test, hormone testing, because it just gives us more of the puzzles to put you together to figure out exactly what's going on. Because I don't think that anybody wants to go to a doctor and continue having their problems. I don't think anybody really wants to go. It's like, I enjoy kind of Band-Aid it for me. Yeah, I want to keep them. It's because of what I identify with. But, you know, where I practice a little bit differently is I look at, you know, the testing that I do, the x-rays that I do, the history that teaches me a lot of the stuff. And then if we have to, we can do blood testing and hormone testing and those types of things. But all of that helps us put together what is causing the problem. Okay. And unfortunately, medicine has got a bad rap by just treating symptoms. Like you go in, you get a headache. Well, here, like if you said that I had migraines and they'll do their testing. Yeah, you've got migraines here. Take Topamax or Maxalt or whatever. What if, you know, the migraine is something else? And, you know, I'm reminded of a patient that goes to church here. It's a phenomenal friend of mine who I've treated for many, many, many years. And, you know, he's battled debilitating migraines. Well, he has such a chemical sensitivity that anything could trigger it. Well, when he's treating with me, they're marginal at best, to where he doesn't have to be debilitated by the medication. Now, I didn't get rid of him, and I'm not ever going to say that I'm going to cure anything, but his damage was there for a long time prior to me seeing him. But what we have done is been able to reduce his dependency on those medications.
Cool. So I have a question. So you had mentioned something about like a wallet. You know, you take your wallet out, maybe, you know, paying attention to your posture, crossing line. Are there any other things like that, like tips that people do every day that you don't realize can have an effect on your spine, on your posture and everything?
Yeah. So let's kind of take your computer screen over there and how you're sitting. Most people who are sitting at a desk or whatever, what they don't understand ergonomically, to alleviate stress on the upper back and on the neck, the computer screen should be eye level. Most people have it down on their desk that they're looking down. Well, your head weighs approximately 8 pounds. If you go to a waiter and you
Mine's
see,
at least 16.
yeah, easy 22, 24 pounds there, Kurt. But so if you go kind of look at dynamics, if you see a waiter carrying a tray, most waiters don't carry the trays out here because it puts too much stress on the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're going to do is they're going to carry it more upright to where it's supported through the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and there's just more dynamics of control. That would be equivalent to a proper posture. Now, what people don't understand is God made our spine to be in a specific type of alignment. Major curves in the neck, major curve in the low back, and opposite curve in the upper back. That is for weight distribution and balance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do goofy stuff in our life that causes subtle changes to where that now your head drifts forward. What anatomically, your ears, if I drew a line from your ear, from the whole of your ear, it should intersect your shoulder, hip, and knee and ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most people are 1 to 2 inches in front of their shoulder.
Yeah.
Dynamically and biomechanically, that is stress. It will wear out. You're going to get tight muscles. You're going to get, yeah. So
yeah, my shoulders, like they go forward, and I always try and like stretch them. That's one thing they told me, like, oh, well, stretch out, your chest muscles, try and deter it. I don't know. But,
well, and so that's where we teach is like, if you catch them early, you can get these things and take care of a couple adjustments, and then you can do it on your own, and then it's maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Some people wait too long, and then there's already degeneration, and it's already been that way a long time. So, you don't fix your teeth in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's 18, 24, 36, 48, depending on how badly shifted they are. And, that's how I try to teach people is like, look, man, if you want to fix it, it's not a sprint. If you really want to fix it. And do you want to just be pain-free, or do you want to be healthy? And then we take in all the facets like Dr. Chapa talks about detoxing, which is a phenomenal practice. People need to do it, and they don't. If you're putting garbage in and you don't ever clean it out, it's going to start seeping out. It's going to leach into the body and the tissue, and then it's going to cloud the brain because toxins are depositing in the brain and other things. And then you've got other issues.
Yeah. Stuff we really don't think about
Oh.
until, you just don't know. And it's because we don't know. I had no idea, Kurt. Did you know? I mean, like one of the things Dr. Chapa said, he was like, if you're not detoxing, in 2018, you're missing out. I mean, there's so much benefit. We eat a lot of trash as Americans today.
Yeah. Well, you look at one thing that he topped on was, the skincare. And, a lot of women, will put a lot of lotions, or like one of the biggest things is sunscreen on children. The skin is the biggest organ. It's one of the things how you sweat out toxins and all that stuff. If you're putting stuff on it that clogs those pores, it has no way of escaping.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it gonna go? Now I understand protecting yourself against the sun rays and all that stuff. And sometimes you can be smarter. You can use alternative products that don't have all of those chemicals in it that are toxic to the body. And that's essentially what happens. I try to tell people, it's like, look, your skin, what you see was already there way before it got to the surface.
Yeah.
So whatever toxins being trapped and debilitated inside the endodermis and all that type of the layers of the skin, it's eventually going to get pushed to the surface. So whatever you're seeing now, it's already been there.
So Kurt was saying he was out, he was on a business meeting at dinner, we'll call it, with an associate. I don't know. But anyways, he said he was noticing her skin like on the arm, and he was just like little, what was it?
Scabs, basically, like all the way down. Big. I didn't know if it was something else, but
Well, I mean, there's other conditions, like psoriasis or scabies. I mean, you have no idea. But those are things like you look at that. I know Dr. Chapa would look at it. That lady needs severely to do a detox because it's just going to get pushed out. It will go through the skin. It's one of the eliminating tools that we have, the liver being the other one. It's going to get pushed out that way. And if you got dry, flaky skin, nutritionally, you got a problem.
Yeah. He's checking out his skin now. You see this dude flex? He always is over here like flexing, like, oh, look at my arms. I'm like, Kurt, why?
He's doing like this. Hey, what time is it?
Yeah. I'm like, why are your forearms bigger than your biceps? I feel like, I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be. This detox has him feeling himself, I think.
Kurt's unbalanced.
no, that bicep right there is definitely bigger than that.
Okay,
forearm.
that's literally the shadow, like cast from
the
your
shadow
giant
from the
head.
light there, Kurt.
Hey, anything works. Photoshop, right?
I guess.
Oh, that's awesome.
This dude's a trip.
So going back to why I'm here is like, I think everyone should at least see a chiropractor. Each individual person can determine how often they need to go, when they need to go. People could use chiropractic as a preventative type of measure to stay functionally healthy. Then I truly believe they would have healthier lives and they less pain, less cricks, less aches,
Mhm.
taking less medication. It's all about just getting healthy and functional. That's what it's always about. And
Yeah.
that's what everybody needs to do.
I'm seeing if you're still checking yourself out, Kurt.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because you went to a chiropractor. You went to one earlier this year. I was in the room, and
Oh yeah.
you look like you were in pain. I remember.
Yeah.
that.
So my biggest issue, and I've noticed it's not as painful since I did the detox, and I don't understand the science behind that, but I feel like I have really bad sciatic nerve problem
Mhm.
where I feel like I'm trying the best in my glutes.
Mhm.
Is that the way to say it?
Mhm.
My glutes hurt when I push on it.
Mhm.
And it like I can sit here and do this where I cross my leg like this and lean forward,
Yes, sir.
and I feel like it hurts down my back, which would be like a sciatic nerve issue.
Mhm.
And that actually didn't hurt as bad as it usually does. But I notice it more when I work out.
Mhm.
But that's why I was in pain.
I'll try to simplify this. I mean, there's more than 4 muscle groups around the hip and our girdle and all that process. But one of the muscles primarily is called the piriformis muscle. Your sciatic nerve runs underneath it. And there's anomalies where it can go through it or above it or whatever, but 90% of the population is going to go underneath that muscle. So if your pelvis rotates or it tilts or kind of torques a little bit, it's going to create or allow that muscle to stay under tension. That's a structural component. If nutritionally that you are not fundamentally healthy for that, it is going to cause the fibers inside the muscle to shorten and to tighten. It's going to hurt at the insertion points of it, which is going to cause it to tighten up, closing the gap where the sciatic nerve is, and it's going to pinch down on it. Does that make sense?
So that's why.
So
being on this
detoxing
cleanse-
is going to help allow that tissue to rehydrate, to re-elevate, to kind of loosen up on its own. Well, now once you've done that, look at the structural component. Why is it pinching? Why is it still doing what it's doing? And that's where the chiropractic adjustment can come in. Where I've challenged people is it's not just, rolling in there and going rack crack on both sides. That's why the x-rays are very, very important, because when you look at an SI joint dysfunction or a pelvic distortion inside a chiropractic office, one typically will roll backwards or forwards, and it kind of counter rotates itself, causing a short leg or a long leg discrepancy. Well, if you're adjusting both sides the exact same way, you're going to reduce the pain just a little bit just by the sheer force of releasing pressure based on the adjustment, but you're not fixing anything. It's going to come back. You have to counter it. One pelvis has to be moved one way, the other side has to be moved the other way. And sometimes you can have L5, L4, L3, L2, whatever, depending on like each of those nerves that come out goes to a different portion of the leg. So if somebody says, hey, I'm having sciatica, it's like, okay, well, where is it? Pain, burning, tingling, numb, throbbing? What's it doing? Because that tells me how many fibers, kind of leads me down the path of where it's going. Well,
mine's more tight.
Yeah, if somebody came in and said, hey, look, it goes to the front side of my thigh, but it doesn't go past my knee. Well, that's not going to typically be L5 and L4. That's going to be higher, L3 or L2 or 1, maybe some crossover on L4, depending on how high on the thigh it's going.
See, mine doesn't feel on the thigh.
Mhm.
Mine's literally just
The
that
backside.
one spot
Mhm.
in the glute, and like if you push on it, like the pressure piece is where it really hurts.
Yeah, I would tell you am I not having truly examined you? I would tell you it's more pelvis.
Interesting.
I had went to a foot doctor because this is funny, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I had a toe that was falling asleep, and it would just randomly fall asleep. And I was like, okay, that's not good. I feel like there's some weird stuff. And what they told me is like, well, yeah, the way you walk or something, and the way we can fix that is you have a toe that's longer than the other one, and it's because it's starting to it was curved or whatever. I know there's hammer toe or something like that. Well, we can cut it and we can make it shorter, and that'll fix that. And then just the way you walk and wear these insoles, that'll help with your thing. And then later after that, that's whenever I developed those knots in my thing, and I was like, my hamstring, and I was like, okay, I'm out of there's something going on here. Like if I don't know, it was a crazy thing.
Sometimes surgery is needed. It's warranted in some cases. Some people wait way too long.
Yeah.
I always look at it as exhaust every other option until that is the only option that you have. I've told people, I had a patient come to me and ask me about some type of therapy. And I said, look, I don't care if I have to understand it. I don't care if the guy down the street's telling you to jump on one leg, swinging 3 chickens, singing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
If you think it's going to work, then try it. I mean, what's it going to hurt? I
Mhm.
mean, the worst case is you've already gone to the surgeon. The surgeon said, hey, you're going to need surgery. Well, what I want people to understand is once you have surgery, you can't change your mind and, well,
I want
can
my
go
toe back.
No.
I want my toe
So
back.
I try to teach people, let's look fundamentally in the spine first.
Yes.
If it's not there, we can't make this up. I mean, if the problem's there, it's going to be there. It's going to
Yeah.
jump out at you. It's not like we're, giving people drugs to make them hallucinate what we see. It's there. If it's not there, then we look elsewhere. And
Yeah.
then we start trying to track it and find out, is it into the shoulder, into the elbow, or the wrist, or in the knee or the ankle, those types of things, because those nerve roots all start centrally and they can be entrapped in different places. It's like tingling and numbness in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where's it coming from?
Right.
Well, 90% of the time in my office, it's coming from the neck. You start taking the pressure off the neck, guess what gets better? And a lot of times people will be told, well, it's carpal tunnel. Well, how do you know? Because carpal tunnel is a true median nerve. It's C7. Okay, it's only going to be the middle of these two fingers,
Mm-hmm.
typically. If you have it outside of those, it's probably not carpal tunnel.
Yeah. It could be
It's
another
probably
reason.
trapped somewhere because, again, along that pathway could be here, could be in the elbow, could be in the shoulder, could be in the scalenes, or it could be in the neck. It could be anywhere along that pathway.
Cool. And then you just got to find it and help
Yeah.
treat it.
And that's why somebody who's trained, I mean, not all of us are the same.
Yeah. So we have about a minute left. Can you let people know who are listening how to get a hold of you, or if they
Okay.
have questions, how to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So my email address is lelandglobke@globkefamilychiro.com. And then I have another one that's drglobke, which is drglobke @gmail.com. You can email me that way. My office number is 281-337-6007. You can call up there. I am in the process of trying to work out to get back located back over here away from Friendswood. That is my ultimate goal. That's where I feel God is leading me. There's some things that need to happen in that process, but yeah, I mean that's how most people can get a hold of me.
Yeah, some of those places. I saw an article yesterday about Ziegler's still trying to get back.
Yeah, it was devastating to that community, and I
crazy.
love the community. I was in Dickinson for going over 10 years,
Wow.
and I hated having to leave,
Mhm.
and I wanted to be back because I love that community. They helped me grow and helped me do what I did, and I want to get back closer. Unfortunately, I'm just not going to be going back to that location where I was. Other circumstances have led to the reason why I can't go back there.
Yeah, there's a dentist that was on 517. I think it's Dr. Johnson.
Mhm.
That's who I go to now, but he moved like up there on South Shore, like
Yep.
right across for Hidden Lakes. And
Yes,
you go right over there. So I used to go to the dentist before that, who since is not in business anymore, and he moved into that spot because it was already set up like an office. So I'm actually going there again on Monday.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal dentist.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but great things about him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy for sure. I was trying to get him on, because I went 6 months ago, and I was like, "Hey, you want to come on? I'd love to hear about everything." And
But hopefully today it can help people kind of reanalyze what their spine really does. And again, it doesn't have to be at my office. It could just be anybody. I hate seeing anybody living in pain when they don't have to.
Yes.
Especially if there's a way that maybe chiropractic can help, or Dr. Chapa with nutrition, or it's not always. I've used this adage: is most people don't have headaches because they have a Tylenol deficiency. That's a funny statement. But,
Yeah.
you don't have headaches because you don't have enough Tylenol. in your
Yeah.
body. You have headaches for a reason.
Mhm.
And, let's kind of find out why.
Interesting. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
my
joining
pleasure.
us. It's
Absolutely.
It's 11:01. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. We had Dr. Leland Globke in studio. We had Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. It was a fun show. We'll have to do this again for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, coming up next, we have Delirious. Curt, we got so much going on.
Yeah, we're headed to Soul Cafe in Galveston, Texas. We're going to be doing a giveaway video with them, so make sure that you stay tuned for that video coming probably Thursday.
All right. Y'all have a good morning.
Awesome, man. No, man, my pleasure, man. Hopefully I can do it again. And
That was fantastic.
I think
talked
maybe
the whole
next time
hour.
we can get into something and just be more site specific.
That'd be
Say, hey,
awesome.
look, let's talk about back pain. Let's talk about this, whatever. I think we did such a broad topic, but hey, I
And
enjoyed
then
it.
next time we could bring something in and show us.
Oh yeah,
too.
absolutely. I can bring a spine. I'll do an adjustment of one of you guys.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a good video.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks again,
Have a
man.
good day. Bye, Facebook.
Told us all.
Russ, do you have the? I'll text. Call me or text me if you get lost, man.